Kid's so receptive, wanting to go and please. It fell into place, and he runs some really strong corridor patterns. He, as a forward, he holds his lanes in the midfield, and it's allowed him to win the ball, but also defend. And probably what surprised me, which I didn't know prior to being at the Saints, was his ability to be involved in score involvements. His kicks inside 50 and connecting are really strong.
Senior assistant from the Saints, Brendan Bolton, is with us on ABC Sport ahead of the Saints taking on the Kangas. Now, Brendan, you've been around many clubs and for a long time, and I think we know that the footy world sees a young kid and the spotlight can shine pretty strongly on them, and, well, you've seen some handle it, some not. We're all intrigued as to how young Nas has just gone this week.
Yeah, well, he got to work again, as he has all year. And the thing I've loved about him is, irrespective of the week, because sometimes you can be sore or whatever, game day's the day where he wants to make sure he delivers, and he's done that all year. So in behind that smile when you see it is a real steely resolve to perform, and can't speak highly enough of him.
He doesn't seem to be a guy that's affected much by noise, but you never know what's going underneath the surface, do you?
No, you don't, but you can only judge on game day, and irrespective of all the pressure and all the conversation on the outside, he's played at half back, he's played forward, and you saw last week in the midfield where he tore it to pieces. So irrespective, it takes a strong character to be able to do that, and he's definitely that.
You've been at some very well-performing footy clubs, Bolts. You've had some tough times in other stops along your journey. The celebrations out of last week. So when you do something special, how important is it with a young group to mark that occasion and just enjoy it and remember that there's a bit of fun in footy?
Yeah, well, being around AFL for a little while, I haven't actually seen anything like that in one quarter. I've seen some great comebacks, 10 goals, but never over a quarter. And to quote Fly McRae, he used to say, righto, making sure they're deep wins. When you win, make sure that you live that and hold it and grow from it. But we're also realists. We didn't have a great third quarter, and you've got to learn from that.
Marcus Windhager started the year tagging everyone, doing a great job. He was shutting down the likes of Nick Dacos and these kind of guys. Now he's moved and playing as a genuine midfielder and having a real impact. What was the genesis of that decision, and then do you feel like that's paid dividends in the overall game of the team?
Yeah, I think there'll be times where he needs to go back to that because, some players like the Dacos can get out of control pretty quickly, but he was really disciplined for the team in those roles. But it's a tough caper to be able to do it every week. Like, that one slip up on focus and all of a sudden there's a goal against. So freeing him up, and he's showing some good signs, let it be on the wing or on ball, is a good thing for him, but I think he will still need to be able to flip between both.
And we get to this point of the season where a couple of teams that can't make the finals, and we sort of frame it up, okay, everyone is trying to get something out of every week of footy, but it's strange. How are your guys going to handle the expectation of the day? It's weird to say that, because off last week, you'll be expected to towel up a team that's had a pretty tough year, but that being said, you look at the position on the ladder and you're pretty similarly performed in that regard.
Yeah, you don't underestimate any team, and looking at the ladder can be really dangerous. You've seen that multiple times across the year. This group's chasing consistency and being a really quality outfit. Consistency's been an issue for us, so we know we're capable, so there's no reason not to have real drive for the back end of the year, which can set up a pre-season and then into a season next year. So there's lots of motivating factors for the boys.
Brandon, thanks so much for your time. Good luck today.
Really appreciate you having me on, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, great to catch up with Brendan Bolton a short time ago. Quentin Hull, Joel Peterson, Callum Sinclair and Brent Harvey with you at Docklands with St Kilda and North Melbourne not too far away. Geelong and Port Adelaide is the meat and the sandwich today. We finish up out west with Fremantle taking on Carlton. All of those games available on the ABC Listen app, but if you are listening to us on analogue radio in Western Australia, we will roll from this game to the Dockers Carlton game. You're welcome to join us on 0437 774 774. Jack Steele, the sub for the Saints. Rob Hanson Jr. for North Melbourne. Okay, Cal, okay, Boomer, what are we going to see today?
I would like to see if Alistair Clarkson has got anyone up his sleeve to go to Nazaya Wanganeen Miller and test him out to see, because he's a superstar of this game, and he's got a lot of accolades from last week, but I'm not talking about that. He's going to be the All-Australian halfback flanker this year. He's gone into the midfield over the last 3 or 4 weeks and absolutely dominated, and we've seen what he did going forward for the last 3 minutes last week. He's got everything to his game. He's added the outside run. Now he's added the inside ball-winning ability to go outside with his game. Is there anyone at North Melbourne that can shut him? I'd love to see Clarko just do something. The tag's gone out of it. I love when I see a tag happen and a player's got to think outside the box and get a little bit of support from his mate. But I think the Kangas I just hope it's not a blowout. If it's a blowout to a team that's only won 1.5 more games than them, it's going to be really disappointing. I'd like to think that's not going to happen today, but North Melbourne needs some of their stars to stand up. LDU probably needs another big game. Got Wardlaw back now. You can't rely too much on him being such a young boy, but he certainly adds to them. And Nick Larkey, of course, is back as well. So hopefully he can kick a few goals, and it's a good game of football for us to call.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more about the Kangas. For me, I just want to see a bit of a mature response from them, and it's really hard this time of year, particularly for the Kangas, but also the Saints, because you're not really playing for much, and you do need to kind of set yourself up and set your culture up and set sort of a standard going into the summer and into next year. So I'd be disappointed if we left today and they've just kind of gone through the motions. Equally with St Kilda, you could argue that the case. It just feels like they've propelled a little bit more emotion. I was just watching the footage of Ross Lyon before with Nass on his shoulders at the post-game function. I'll tell you what, I cannot imagine Ross doing that the last time he coached. So, it seems like they're probably enjoying their football a little bit more at this point in time. But, we'll see in a few hours' time. It's
amazing how 1 week of footy can somewhat sway our thoughts. You take out last week, i.e. St Kilda winning, and North getting flogged by 100. I mean, you could say that it could be a sneaky good one, this one, and we're really going to learn something about these two footy teams. I reckon there's a fair bit of currency in North getting beaten by Geelong. The competition may not bat an eyelid at that, but it was an absolute pantsing, wasn't it, Boomer? And the Kangas need to show something better than that.
No, absolutely, it was a pantsing. That's the biggest margin of the year. They need to bounce back here. They got such a young team, and you can look through the names and the experience of the team, but you're out there playing AFL football. That's not an excuse anymore. Yeah, it's 22 or 23 now, isn't it, versus 23.
And when you go through experiences like they would have gone through last week, the easiest thing to do as a player is to go into self-preservation mode. Who knows what your current situation is at the footy club, but those sort of games, it does trigger the decision makers to go, hang on a second, what's going on here? We're going to make some big decisions and big calls. So you just be curious to see how the Kangas go, whether or not they're going to be a united bunch today or players are going to go into their shells and take care of themselves.
Jack Steele, sub, is that a little bit weird or different?
It's curious, isn't it?
It's a different one for me. The skipper, after a big win last week.
It's a horrible rule to begin with.
Yeah, totally agree.
The aesthetics are good. I love a home strip with black shorts against the away strip with white shorts. It looks like St Kilda. It looks like North Melbourne. Here's Joel Peterson for the opening bounce.
Alistair Clarkson coaching from the bench, as foreshadowed by Xavier Clark in the early going. Bounce down in the middle of Docklands. One team looking for a response. The other found it at three-quarter time last week in the Saints. Sheasel with the opening clearance for North Melbourne, who tumbles it up toward half forward. Ball bounces the way of Sinclair, who fashions a kick up the line inventively and finds Wanganeen Miller, and the Saints are off and in overdrive in the early going. Burns pumps it inside the forward 50. Kick into the pocket. Looking for Hall. It'll get out the back, and it is a free kick.
Yep, free kick. Every day of the week. This is what happened last week. Jeremy Cameron kicked 6 of his 11 goals out the back with nobody 20 metres. North Melbourne play a bizarre press down back, and then the ball movement from Sinclair to Wanganeen to who I don't even know who it was, but the kick just goes over the top. This is how he got his goals last week.
You saw Wanganeen, how desperate he was just to get rid of that handball.
Really quick.
And Max Heath, the big moose, back into the team, having made his debut here a couple of weeks ago, can get the Saints on the board in the opening minute. What a start from St Kilda. Talk about picking up where you left off. The Saints, to the same end of the ground, get the opening goal in the opening minute. Of course, their last goal at this venue came after the siren in their last outing. 1 straight 6, North yet to score. Minute gone, opening term. Your experts on ABC Sport are Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair.
Well, it's that ball movement, Cal. This is the one right here. Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller gets the ball, they break a line, and the ball goes out the back, and then the North Melbourne defenders are all scrambling. Every single player is running back to goal. It's not a great position to be in, all due to the quick ball movement.
No, it just looks so textbook from Nas there, wanting to get rid of that handball. It's like he felt up the ground that the Kangaroos were out of position, and when you're under pressure as a defender, you give away free kicks like that, but it was a very sloppy there from Comden.
The centre bounce. Teagle gets the hand, but Wanganeen-Miller a burst through, fumbles to his own advantage, gathers, slots the ball inside 50, doesn't have a teammate there. Ball's on the deck, but Nass is there under the crumbs as well. Kicks a wild ball towards the pocket, pitches in the direction of Wood, the ex-Kanga for the Saints. Hand pass doesn't find a teammate. Wardlaw crashes through for the Saints. Hand passes through Daniel onto O'Sullivan, hands it to Pink in the pocket, and he kicks the Kangas clear towards Constanti at left half back. Punched away by Clark out of bounds for a throw-in. Left half back for North, who are kicking to the Coventry end, and right half forward for the Saints, who are going to the Lockett left.
Well, I can answer my own question here. Not one player was 25 metres in the vicinity of Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller then.
He's had 3 disposals.
Right now.
No one
near him.
more than one. Make it 4. He got the handball away
Make it
to
5.
Ball. And now he does poke it inside the forward 50. Wanganeen-Miller toward Higgins in the right forward pocket. Wanganeen-Miller almost ended up with the footy. Stevens took it back for North Melbourne. Handball to Davies-Uniacke. Kick outside the defensive 50. Might come straight back in. Bit of holding on between Parker and Sinclair. No free kick paid. Now Wardlaw's waiting for it to come out, and it won't, between the wing and right half forward on the City side of the ground. A ball up. Saints with the opening goal through 3 minutes.
And the crowd's not too bad, really, when you consider the position of these two teams, with stoppage rumbling over the boundary line, so it will now be thrown in.
I've got a feeling that we're going to be calling his name a lot today, so can we just cut it short and say Naz? Is everyone happy with that? Because if we call his name, we're going to waste half the day.
Unlike other media outlets that cover football, we don't need edicts, Brent, to have no nicknames.
Five touches.
But I know what you're saying, Boomer.
5 touches in 80 seconds.
North win the clearance from left half back. Sheasel with a hand pass towards Wardlaw. Under pressure, his kick is pinched on the wing by Clark of the Saints. Rush ball back towards half forward. It was a blazing right boot, which...
Oh no, umpire.
Was it deemed as insufficient intent? Oh dear, that's a free kick to North, and Riley Hardiman's going to take it for the Kangas.
Whoever kicked that, he kicked it 60 metres and it rolled and went right.
Yeah, it was Hunter Clark.
That was unbelievable. How was that deliberate? He kicked it forward into their forward 50.
And West Australian Hardiman gave it to Daniel. And now Davies-Uniacke inside the defensive 50. Looking for a way out in the early going here, North Melbourne. Davies-Uniacke spots up Wardlaw, one of the 3 inclusions alongside Larkey and Harvey for this North Melbourne team. Kicks wide to the City wing. On the bounce, Parker picks up, loops the handball over the top to McKercher. He daps his kick down the line. Too wide for Jack Darling, out of bounds on the fall. And this time North falls short out at half forward. And the penalty free kick will be taken out there by Hunter Clark for the Saints. North by 6, 4 goal on opening term.
And the kick goes straight to the opposition on the wing. McKercher takes the grab for North Melbourne. Chips a short pass to Parker. Low spearing ball marked by Constanti. 60 out left, half forward. Kicks the first inside 50 for the Kangas. Wilkie reads it better than any.
So this
does that a bit, and he takes the mark for the Saints in the right back pocket.
This was the problem a couple of weeks ago against Sydney, where the inside 50s for North Melbourne, you can count inside 50s, but you could count the good ones on one hand. It was quite bizarre.
Wilkie short to Clark. Long kick to a contest on the wing. Again, McKercher's there for North, trying to lock it up. He had some help from Hardiman, and it's a ball up, not quite true centre wing, just slightly advantage side of halfway for the Kangas. And Kilda a goal, North yet to score.
Marshall and Teagle do battle. Guess who it spills to? Naz, who gets his 6th disposal. A tumbling kick into the centre of the ground. Curtis overran the footy. Handball back to Logue, back to Comben. One way, the other. Sold Logue into trouble. Now comes back to Pink, who calmly works his way with the footy and kicks to Teagle. On the diagonal to Daniel. North again go into patient mode to try and build the ball up with short passes. Curtis is behind halfway. Found Larkey. 2 kicks from home. Needs to move it. Waits. Assesses. Flares it to right half forward. Stevens sits under it. 65 metres out. Gets a lead from Darling. Right to the top of the 50. Taru smashes it into the stands, reaching across with his right arm. And it'll be thrown back in at right half forward for North Melbourne.
I'm really curious to know why there hasn't been one bit of physical pressure on Wanganeen Miller at all. Like right now, even though it's defensive stoppage, he's still just...
Yeah, there's no one on him. Cal Sinclair with you. Whistle from that stoppage. Okay, which way? North Melbourne free kick. Yeah, Wardlaw's going to get it.
No, I totally agree with you.
Even where he is now, like, he's still an offensive threat. He loves to propel off half-back. There's got to be some level of accountability attached to him.
And this is what I was calling for at the start of the game. You can't just let him run around and do whatever he wants with no...
Wardlaw kicks to the goal mouth, off hands of the pack and through for the Kangas' first score. It's a rushed behind. St Kilda won straight 6. And the Kangas, that score, that point. 7 minutes played.
Look for this guy too to have a field day every time he plays North Melbourne. Sinclair ends up with 35 or 40 touches.
He's been in great form, one of the top 10 rated players in the competition this season. Jack Sinclair, an Australian, of course, in previous years. Free kick coming to the Saints out wide. Owens gets his first touch of it. Measures the kick up the line, looking for Sharman. Belted away by Comben. Spilled almost to McKercher, the opposite number 10. Owens just attacked it, wanted it more. Picked the footy up, kicked to half forward. Bounces awkwardly for Higgins. Daniel did well. Worked his way through the traffic. Handball into the centre now for Curtis. Looks upfield. Pokes a little kick over the top. Found Powell. Now Davies Uniacke streaming through the middle. Better looking entry this time. Found Constanti around the body. Now an opportunity for North through Zerha, who snaps and misses left.
That's a better build-up though. Caleb Daniel from half-back there won his own football. Took the game on a little bit and that's what they've got to do. They had a 3v1. Unfortunately, the Kangas in their forward 50 and couldn't get the ball to just to a mark for a set shot. It's a better build-up. That's what they need to do.
Jack Steele, the sub for the Saints. That's right, along with Rob Hanson Jr. for North. As Sinclair with the inbound, runs to the pocket, kicks a bit of a mung ball beyond half-back. Marshall meets it, can't control for the Saints. It's roved by Powell of North Melbourne. Quick hands through Wardlaw and Parker. Out the back, gives it to Common. That's a weird kick, but it finds its target. Sort of slewed off the side of the boot, but Stevens takes the mark, kicks back into the corridor for Parker. Just forward of the bullseye. Parker with his right boot, that's off the side of the boot too. Kicks it to a 2-on-1 against Zerha, who did well to spoil Wilkie in front and robe his own crumb. Zerha chips around the boundary. Davies Uniacke marks, plays on, snaps with his left, kicks a stunning goal.
Brilliant goal.
Really well executed from a man we know's got talent. And Luke Davies Uniacke not only kicks the Kangas' first goal, but that's put North Melbourne into the lead. North 1-2 lead St Kilda 1 straight 9 minutes into the first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, they're easing into the game a little bit better than what they were the first couple of minutes there, North Melbourne. And they seem to be finding, I guess, a couple of uncontested marks in the middle of the ground. One thing that they're just making life a little bit too difficult for themselves. For them to evolve, they just need a little bit more structure ahead of the ball, get their patterns right, and a bit more connected with their midfield group. Great goal, but I'll tell you what, they make it hard for themselves.
Cal, you're spot on. So Wilkie come off one of the North Melbourne players, but Parker had the ball. He had the ability to drop his eyes and hit someone about 40. If they're going to go long, we know what Callum Wilkie does. He's a star of the competition. He lets them get up to the midfield, drops off and has a +1, and 9 times out of 10 he marks the football.
Cal Sinclair and Boomer Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport. Wanganeen Miller flashes through the stoppage at the restart, hands it off to Windhager. Kick inside forward 50, they fly. Sharman stayed down, handed it to Burns, who rams it into the post. Almost the instant response for St Kilda. And he makes the margin 1 point. Roos ahead 1-2, Saints 1-1 through 10.5 of the opening term.
Very short inbound. McKercher has got a target just forward of the goal mouth as the Kangas now look to work this ball upfield. O'Sullivan not quite sure what to do with it now, having taken his allotment. Kicks a long ball to the wing. Goes behind the pack. First to meet it for North Melbourne is Banch. He has a bounce. He's under pressure. Draws a man. Hand passes to Wardlaw. Weaves around an opponent on 60. Kicks to the corridor over the head of the intended targets. Wilkie mops up for St Kilda. And now the Saints can roll the corridor on rebound. Hand passes to Hasty. Hasty kicks wide to half forward. Nice ball from Pink there on Owens. Ball goes to ground level. It's near the boundary line. Lowe picks up for North. Keeps it in. Ineffective hand pass though, stolen by the Kangas. Stevens with a hand pass to McKercher, to Sheasel, back to Stevens at left half back. Chip around the boundary line, hoping for Constanti. Has to go to his knees to try and slide into a mark. Can't control it. Out of play. Boundary throw in between wing and right half forward for St Kilda. North 1-2. Lead the Saints 1-1. And we've travelled 11 and a half under the roof.
It's really difficult to articulate, and particularly when you're on radio, but when the ball spills out the back of a contest, the top 2 or 3 teams, they hurt you in the competition. That's where the Kangas just can't get a mark inside 50.
Well, that was a kick from Wardlaw. The pressing player from St Kilda pressed, and they had a North Melbourne player over the top. It was a handball and a shot on goal, but he tried to kick it back inboard to a 2-on-1.
Dominating possession, North, 62-28, but it's all empty calories at the moment. At the stoppage, Stevens to McKercher, kicks off a step, up the line to Larkey. Caminiti with him every step of the way. Socket forward, up toward Harvey. Couldn't take it. Stocker was there with him. Constanti pounces on the footy. Wilkie goes to ground awkwardly on the edge of the 50. Still they fight for it. Big pack around the footy. Umpire oscillates around the pack and then says mine. 52 metres out from the North Melbourne goal. Roos on top, 1-2 to the Saints 1-1. 12 and a half minutes gone, opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Ball bobbles around the stoppage. Saints will win it out the back. Sinclair with a rushed kick towards the wing on the head of Owens. Comben offends over the shoulder. Free kick to Mitch Owens, who's just forward of right half back for St Kilda. And that city side wing looks pretty populated. Looks inboard for a moment, then decides to bang it long to half forward. Oh, floated the ball read by Cooper Sharman. He did well, couldn't mark. Roved though by Higgins of the Saints. Hand passes to Hill, 40 out on the boundary. Kick in field, ricocheted off the behind of a North Melbourne player. Higgins picks it up, hands to Windhager, who's tackled. Ball's on the deck, play on Stevens picks up for the Kangas with a hand pass to Dersma, to Comben, tries to get it back to Stevens. It's messy, but they get out of it. Parker now just shy of the bullseye for North. Kicks a wide ball towards the half-forward flank, and Bench takes the grab. Kick and a half from goal.
What's ahead of him? Goes short to Larkey, front point of the square, kicks inside the 50, Zerha presents and marks, led Hasty to the footy, 50 or nearly 50 metres out, 45-degree angle right of centre.
Very lucky North Melbourne, because Charlie Comben missed one of the easiest handballs I've ever seen in my life, but butted up and got a second one.
Cam Zerha kicked 3 last week. Equal team high 4 inside 50s, equal team high 6 score involvements in what was a rough outing for the Roos. Can he kick another one for the Kangas here? He drags his kick across to the left. It won't have the journey. Larkey put his hands up and the umpire says it's touched and hit the behind post on the way through, and I've got a feeling we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about this one. No, it is going to be just thrown in, so no need for the review. Thank the Lord for that. 14 and a half gone opening term, the Roos by a point.
Great umpiring. Ask the boundary up, yeah, it's a point. Ask the goal up, yeah, it's a point. Okay, chuck it in.
Make a decision.
Exactly, and that's what they do. Thrown in, Darling to the front of the pack. Taps down, Curtis sniping around but can't pick it up. It's over the boundary line for another throw in.
Despite the ball falling short from the throw-in, there was not one midfielder at the front of the feet of the ruckman there, so I want to be very curious to see if this midfield group sets up appropriately, but they are very exposed goal side here, St Kilda.
Callum Sinclair with you on ABC Sport. Darling clean possession from the right contest, hands it out the back to Sheasel, snaps from 25, not the greatest purchase but good enough. He kicks the goal and the Kangaroos extend their margin as Harry Sheasel kicks just his 6th goal of the season. North Melbourne 2-2-14. Lead St Kilda 1-1-7, 15 minutes played. First term at Docklands.
Well, Cal, you're probably a little bit more equipped to talk about this, but that was great craft from Jack Darling in the ruck, isn't it? We see this so often now. Ruckmen start so far back, get pushed underneath the ball.
Tom Hawkins started that for Geelong, and it's something that needs to be, I guess, catered for when you're, I guess, going into your opposition review. But Jack Darling's been doing that for years, so strong below his hips. Like, he can wrestle with the best of them. I remember him pushing out Brodie Grundy at times over his footy career, but it seems like a bit of a set play there. They set up on the defensive side of the stoppage, the Kangaroos, create a huge wave, but then just have this opening gap with Sheasel. He just pops up a terrific finish, and that's probably where his game needs to get to, hit the scoreboard more.
Somehow, some way, North are 7 points up. It just doesn't feel like it. Hall with the clearance for the Saints for the restart. Tumbles a kick inside the forward 50. Comben dropped it in the tackle. Umpire lets it go. And it'll be a stoppage inside forward 50 for the Saints. Burns was right over the top of the North Melbourne defender. Darling waltzes down, says, what on earth are you waiting for Max Heath for? Just chuck it up. Umpire obliges. Powell has a go at it. It's kicked clear of that. Sheasel coming crashing in his bench. Acrobatically coming over the top of Burns. Takes a terrific mark inside the back 50. Kick left a little bit to be desired. Made Comben work for it. Now Hardiman off to Pink, who drives it outside the defensive 50 for the Roos. Caminiti climbs all over the back of Larkey and gives away. No, it's going to be a shepherding free kick going to Caminiti here. Nick Larkey thinks it's his. Anthony Caminiti knows it's his, and the Saints will take it from in front of the interchange.
Kicks it backwards, and Clark is going to set things up for the Saints just forward of left half back. North by 7 points. Hunter Clark's called to play on. And conservative kick around the boundary. Good pass in the end, marked by Burns, who was aided by a nice block there from Boxall to allow the mark to be completed. Caleb Daniel couldn't get to the contest. He now stands the mark as Burns plays on. Kicks inside 50 for the Saints. Big pack. Sharman came down with it, didn't have first bite. And the umpire saw it the way I did and says ball up.
Yeah,
he was fishing though, as you would.
Oh, just interesting, Larky's decision against him. He sort of just held his ground. Couldn't do any more.
Darling smashes it away from a rather weird-looking ruck contest, and Curtis knocks it towards the middle of the ground. Just forcing it upfield, but Caminiti there for the Saints on the wing. Hand pass comes out to McRae. Rush kick inside 50. Sheasel's underneath it for North and takes the mark in the right back pocket.
Shifts short to Powell. The South Australians got it inside the defensive 50. Joel Peterson, Quentin Hull calling the footy for you. Boomer Harvey, Kel Sinclair, your experts here on ABC Sport. Wide kick. Parker has pulled it in. And confirming Lauren Borden is in the building.
She's made it back from the Gold Coast. That's good.
Which is good news. Parker short to Sheasel.
You introduce a fifth member of the broadcast team, you want to hear him on air.
Exactly right. Larkey now to Curtis, who gets the Roos moving, kicks inside the forward 50. And a good kick it was as well. Constanti takes the mark just inside the arc. Slide angle left of centre, looking for North's third.
Really methodical build-up by North Melbourne there. They could have went quick a couple of times and gave the hands, but they decided not to. Chip, chip, chip. And it was a little bit of an aggressive kick by Sheasel back through the middle, but it certainly paid off.
That's what they need to see more of from Harry Sheasel. 90 possessions to 42 in the early going for North Melbourne. 27 marks to 4. So they've controlled the footy. Constanti with a kick of 45 metres out. He drags it to the left. They're not quite controlling the scoreboard in the same way. 2-3 to 1-1, 19 played opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport at Docklands.
And now Wanganeen Miller is going back to kick in.
Well, he hasn't touched it for 5 minutes, so...
Cal Wilkie had it and he's thinking, what, you get enough of it elsewhere? You mean I've got to give it to you?
He comes straight off the bench, straight to full back for the kick in.
Wanganeen Miller runs to the pocket and then drives a long right foot drop punt towards the wing. Pink in front for North, couldn't take the mark. Sharman was the target for the Saints. Goes to deck. Rumble towards the boundary line, and Davies Uniacke's under pressure from Jones there. Jones picks it up for the Saints, rides a tackle, hand passes to Clark, hand pass, it was given to Garcia who dropped it, cleaned up by Stocker. The Saints have got it at right half back, and a bit of composure now shown from Garcia to weave his way through the traffic. Kicks from defensive 50, not paid to McRae, mark on the edge of the centre square. He was under pressure there from Dersma. North win out. Hand pass from McKercher to Sheasel in the middle of the ground. Sheasel kick inside 50. Wilkie intercepts. Takes a fine mark in front of Curtis.
Superbly judged from Cal Wilkie. Now Hasty spears his kick to Hill. The back edge of the square. The West Australian kicks out wide looking for Marshall, who's marauding between the wing and half forward. He's got Sharman all alone and Burns further ahead as well. He finds the former, and Cooper Sharman was unguarded inside the arc. He marks 40 metres out.
So Cal, is this a defensive misplacement by North Melbourne, or is it just that the ball movement is way too quick for their backs to even think about making any play?
I don't think pace has anything to do with it. Like, you generally, they stop-started a couple of times in that play, so you have enough time as a team to set up, but Comden's just caught in complete and utter no man's land there.
Here's Sharman with the kick. Kicked a couple of big goals in the last quarter last week. Can't steer that one home. Margin back to 7. Roos on top, 15-8. 21 gone in the first.
I'll keep a quick eye on North Melbourne's backs and see if they're pressing way too high, because Comben, like you said, he's just out of play.
Yeah.
Well, it was a quick one too. McKercher through Sheasel, then McKercher trying to link up with Daniel at half back. It was just a bit too wide. It's out of play. So what was looking like a nice quick inbound for North comes unstuck on the 50 arc. So it will be thrown in left half back for the Kangas, right half forward for St Kilda. North Melbourne 2-3-15 lead the Saints 1-2-8. Marshall just puts a toe poke to the ruck contest. Doesn't really clear the congestion. Wanganeen Millerer wins the ball, rides a tackle, hands to Hill, hands it out the back to McRae from 60, pokes it to the pocket, and good mark from Comben.
Read that well.
Yep, leading Big Heath to the ball, and Charlie Comben takes the grab in the left back pocket for the Kangas.
Had a frustrating game last week, Comben. Here's Toby Pink, who's got the orange boots on, so he's orange on top and orange down by the bottom. Here's Toby Pink, which is a bold choice.
Well, I would have gone hair of red, boots of orange, and name of pink.
Yes, it's a colourful combination any way you slice it.
Strawberry.
Here's Logue, off to Daniel, dangerous kick, tried to fashion it to Powell. Wanganeen Miller came charging it down. Bounces back into Rue's hands though. Comben across the defensive 50, and now to Logue, trying to set something up. Floats the kick out wide in front of O'Sullivan. Their prize pick at last year's draft. Out of Victoria's Western District. He drops it on the right boot, sends it to the edge of the 50. Wilkie stands in the hole, got a hand to it. Marshall let it fall for Sinclair inside the defensive 50. Now the Saints. Clark a fumble and then a tackle that lingered up too high. And a free kick to Cooper Harvey in the right forward pocket. And we were interviewing Xavier Clark right in that spot earlier, Q. And young Cooper, I reckon he was even a couple of metres further over the fence, absolutely drilled one from a very similar spot.
And he's done what all good forwards should do, look in board and put the hand out and say, no, you're covered, and go back and have a shot.
So he knows the assignment. He nailed a couple over our shoulder in the pre-game. What can he do here, Cooper Harvey? From beyond the boundary line. Right forward pocket, lines it up. Oh, he's glanced the post.
Bad parenting.
The angle was just a bit too easy compared to the pre-game. 2-4 to 1-2, Roos by 8, 23 and a half gone opening term.
I tell you what, that was excellent mail though, Joel. You gave our listeners the full ride there, and he didn't miss by much at all. Sinclair's taking quite the time to work out what to do with the injection. It's a short ball, chipped to Clark in the pocket. He marks it and chips it to the D50 where Hasty takes the grab for the Saints. North's lead is 8 points as Hasty plays on, kicks a turnover, intercepted by Wardlaw on the wing for the Kangas. Hand passes to Stevens, kicks back inside 50. Larkey was the leader. Good courage from Hasty to get in front of him and punch it out of play.
If I was Nick Larkey, I would be fuming at Dylan Stevens, taking 3 or 4 extra steps. He clearly saw him. He was out by 3 or 4 metres, penetrate the kick. Sorry,
I thought the same thing, because when he missed the first one, I think he's going long, but he still dropped his eyes and went there.
Boundary throw in, Darling whacks it back over the line for another throw in.
And as the forward, you've done all your work.
Yeah.
You've got off, you've pushed off, you've reset, you've come back to the football. You expect the ball to be there, and you're 100% right there. Dylan Stevens looked, thought, no, I'm going to go somewhere else. No, I'm going to go back there. Too late.
Just love to see a bit more urgency in his game. Dill Stevens tossed back in. Marshall wins it down. Crashing through the contest is Wardlaw. Goes headlong into the pack. Curtis lays a good tackle. And it says, umpire says mine. Left forward pocket for the Roos.
The last 6 or 7 minutes, the Kangas have had it in their forward half, haven't they?
They are dominating after the Saints' bright start. Marshall gave it up to Davies Uniacke. Tried to get boot to ball as he was tackled. Spilt to the turf. Banch had a play with it. So did Sheasel. Handball over his head. Taken by Clark. Again, it's locked up as it just edges ever closer toward goal for North Melbourne.
Tossed in the air once more. Neither ruckman gets a hand to it. It bounces back into the hands of Darling, who's tackled immediately by Marshall. So another stoppage.
This is not too bad. You create a few stoppages, build the pressure a little bit, and hopefully get St Kilda a bit uneasy.
Marshall does get a clean hand that time. Can't really find a rover in that congestion. Curtis is wrapped up underneath. Holding the ball, my word. That is a free kick that is more likely to be paid to the team in the back pocket rather than the team in the forward pocket. Can I say that?
Yeah, it was very stiff. He picked up the ball and was tackled as he was picking up the football.
But it's Young Hall that gets the free kick for St Kilda in the right back pocket. A long kick to a contest at right half back. Again, a lot of men around the ball. Owens is over the top for St Kilda. He has pressure around him. Can't create. Oh, holding the ball. Who got underneath that? It wasn't Owens in the end. It was hatched by McRae. So Toby Pink gets the free kick. Gee, you don't want to be caught with the pill today by the sounds of things. Pink at left half forward. Kicks North into attack again. From behind, Caminiti, a big fist to smash the pack. Wardlaw Roves tackled off it by Owen. Saints ball. Wanganeen Miller comes away from the pocket.
He kicks it out wide, looking for Heath. Comes across. Pink got a hand in. McRae's there to try and clean up the crumb. Now Wanganeen Miller goes back in. Handed it straight to Stevens. Pokes it inside the 50 for the Roos. And Clark nudges Darling under it. He's off for the Saints. 26 and a half gone opening term. Roos 2-4, Saints 1-2. They got the opening goal of the game through Max Heath in the first minute. St Kilda, it's been all North Melbourne in the scoring department since. Wilkie's kick outside the defensive 50. He's bashed over the line by O'Sullivan.
And a good little statistical nuance from Sir Swamp. Captains to be the starting sub in an AFL game. Brad Green, Luke Power, Steve Cornelio, and now Jack Steele.
I've got a feeling in 2026 there will be no more captains to be the starting sub and there will be no more starting subs.
Good. Ball thrown in, right half forward for the Kangas. They lead by 8 points. Again, there's a lot of commitment at these stoppages, albeit it's messy. Jones gets a hand pass out for the Saints to Wanganeen Miller. What's he up to? About 8 or 9 for the quarter.
Well,
kick to half forward. Wow. Heath couldn't take the mark. North at the fall. Daniel with a hand pass infield to O'Sullivan. Hands it through the middle of the ground to half forward Curtis. He couldn't really get onto the ball. Now McKercher replies a tackle to lock it up at centre half forward for the Kangas. That was a rather fierce grip on McRae, who gets up a little rueful and hands the footy to the ump.
They looked really good, Boomer, penetrating through the corridor with the footy, but they just needed it forward to just connect with them, come at the footy.
Again, one miss handball, just a little fundamental. It went too high to Paul Curtis.
Cal Sinclair and Boomer Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport. Free kick to North Melbourne at centre half forward. Davies Uniacke kicks it in front of Larkey, who reaches up and pulls it in. Just had enough of it. He's paid the mark. What a welcome return he is. He looked Darling off in the pocket, didn't go there, and Nick Larkey will have the set shot from 50 metres out.
It's a good kick, just kick the space. Forward's dream, when they just got the little pocket of space there, 15 metres, they can do the work. They can put the speed on the ball for them.
Missed 3 with a knee injury. He'd kicked 10 goals for in the 2 weeks prior. After the quarter time siren, he strikes it, and the fist goes up as soon as he lets it go. He takes the Roos bounding into quarter time with a 14-point break on the Saints. And it's the kind of response that Alistair Clarkson would have wanted to see from his side. And again, a St Kilda team that finds itself with work to do after the early going. Quarter time under the lid. 3-4-22 North Melbourne. St Kilda 1-2-8. Larkey, Davies Uniacke and Sheasel, the goal kickers for North. They all came in a row after Max Heath kicked the first in the opening minute for the red, black and white.
So it's the first of 3 games that we'll have for you on this Sunday of round 21. We're about an hour away from Geelong taking on board Adelaide at Cardinia Park. And then for those of you listening on analogue radio in the west, we'll roll from here into Perth Stadium and the coverage of Fremantle versus Carlton. There's a couple of games in the National Rugby League today. The Tigers and Canterbury Bankstown just getting underway. Later on, it's Cronulla Sutherland taking on North Queensland. Quarter time at Docklands, North Melbourne through Larkey, Sheasel and Davies Uniacke, a 3-4-22. The Saints 1-2-8. Max Heath, the only goal kicker for St Kilda. It's the Kangas by 14 points at quarter time on Sunday footy on ABC.
Ben Cameron and Corbin Middlemash from ABC Sport here.
Alongside Paul Roos, Brett Delidio and Poppy Penny, we bring you all the latest AFL news from both on and off the field on the ABC AFL Daily podcast.
You can hear it all on the ABC Listen app.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast. It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Alistair Clarkson coaching from the bench, as foreshadowed by Xavier Clark in the early going. Burns pumps it inside the forward 50, kick into the pocket, looking for Hall. It'll get out the back, and it is a free kick. Max Heath, the big moose, can get the Saints on the board in the opening minute.
What a start from St Kilda.
Parker with his right boot, that's off the side of the boot too. Kicks it to a 2-on-1 against Zaha, who did well to spoil Wilkie in front and rove his own crumb. Zaha chips around the boundary. Davies Uniacke marks, plays on, snaps with his left, kicks a stunning goal. Darling clean possession from the right contest, hands it out the back to Sheasel, snaps from 25. Not the greatest purchase, but good enough. He kicks the goal.
Powell has a goal. It's kicked clear of that. Sheasel coming crashing in his bench. Acrobatically coming over the top of Burns. Takes a terrific mark. He nailed a couple over our shoulder in the pre-game. What can he do here, Cooper Harvey? From beyond the boundary line. Right forward pocket. Lines it up. Oh, he's glanced the post.
Bad parenting.
To North Melbourne at centre-half forward. Davies Uniacke kicks it in front of Larkey, who reaches up and pulls it in. Just had enough of it. Missed 3 with a knee injury. Kicked 10 goals for in the 2 weeks prior. After the quarter-time silent, he strikes it. And the fist goes up as soon as he lets it go.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Well, there was never going to be a huge sell for this game with two teams struggling in the bottom portion of the ladder, but I think the first half hour has maybe helped. Quentin Hull with you for Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. We've seen a lot of heat in the contest, and it's the Kangaroos who lead at quarter time. North Melbourne 3-4-22 to St Kilda's 1-2-8. Callum Sinclair and Brent Harvey, your experts. So it's been messy, but that being said, you know when you get two teams are in the lower portion of the ladder that maybe skill and execution is going to be an issue. But, Cal, I like that there's a lot of bodies around. There's a lot of intent at the start of this one.
They're certainly having a go. And what I would say is probably as a commentary team, we're probably a little bit critical of the Kangaroos in that first, particularly the first half of that first quarter. But the reality is they've actually had a lot more of the ball than St Kilda. So St Kilda actually can't actually get control of any of their ball movement. You look at the top 15 possession getters on the field. There's only 3 players from St Kilda that are actually featuring. Was Nazai Wangray-Miller with 12, Hunter Clark with 9, Jack Sinclair with 7. It then always goes down to Rowan Marshall there on 5 touches. But from a team perspective, disposal count is definitely in favour of the Kangaroos at the moment. One thing that's been, I guess, pleasing to see, it seems like they're taking a little bit of, not necessarily a risk, but they're having a go at bringing it through the middle of the ground a couple of times. They've found the loose and the spare in the middle of the ground. What's letting them down and what could, I guess, improve them is just that connection going inside 50. They've had so many times where either they just need to lower their eyes. Callum Wilk is getting involved a little bit too much in the air at the moment. So if they can kind of play through him a little bit, it does take time to build. But the growth area for them in this game is, can they make Wilkie accountable and can they just get someone clean up at the footy to take a clear uncontested mark? Because yes, they're in the lead, but they're just making it hard for themselves.
Oh, I agree. 121 disposals to 74, so got a lot more of the football and building that ball up, as you mentioned, Cal, but you're spot on. It's the connection piece. It's the last kick for them, or the second last kick, I should say, but it's the last kick inside 50. They've just got to have a little bit more composure. They have got a couple of guys hitting up at the football, North Melbourne, and they've just got to drop their eyes and use them. If they can do that, Wilkie starts coming up with that person or the player, and then they can start going long to Larkey and Darling at the top of the square. St Kilda look best when they put speed on the ball. Naz gets involved through the middle there. Quick handball, how they scored their first game. So when Saints put speed on their ball, we've seen North Melbourne scrambling back to goal.
Kangas a +4 with the inside 50s. Harry Sheasel, among all the NAS talk, he's leading the way as far as disposals are concerned. 13 of them, although the efficiency's low at 57%.
Couple of bits of news. Next game, Geelong Port Adelaide. Connor Rosie's a late out of that game, so the Port captain. And Paul Curtis was reported for striking in that opening term, an off-ball incident with Angus Hastie, so he will come under the scrutiny of the match review officer during the week.
Okay, Sheasel 13, McKercher 12 for the Kangas, Wanganeen Miller at 12 for St Kilda. Let's get this second term underway. North by 14 points. And a clearance for Windhager for St Kilda. Rush kick towards half forward. Bounces in front of a contest. Owens keeps his feet. Can't pick up the footy though, as Daniel dives in to lock it up for North. And a ball up at left half back for the Kangas. Right half forward for the Saints, who are kicking to the Coventry end in this second quarter. Tossed in the air. Marshall palms down, it ricochets back to him. He's smashed into the deck by Teakle. Let him go. Now Garcia is tackled by a strong lock from Wardlaw.
I tell you what, I'm looking at the Saints forward line. Jack Higgins is going to have a massive day if they're to win this game. I don't know who's going to be responsible for their goals today.
4 last week, career best season for Jack Higgins. He's been quite the early going here. One man who hasn't been is Wanganeen Miller from the stoppage. Curls it inside the forward 50. Owens the target, had one across the shoulder. And so Mitch Owens has got the free kick right on the 50. Got the bit of treatment from Griffin Logue. What can he see inside the arc? He's got Heath deep. A presentation a bit shorter from Higgins, so he kicks it on top of the pack. Higgins is at the front of it. Leading the race is Banch. He got accosted by Stocker, picked up by Wood. Sweeping handball from Daniel in defence. And North try to work it out. Gee, Hardiman's kick was risky. He bit one off across the goal face to O'Sullivan, but it worked out. Finn O'Sullivan takes the mark and chips it short to Sheasel, coming up for disposal number 14.
Breaking up the numbers early on here. The former number 3 pick, he kicks it to left half back. Darling leads and marks in front of Taru. This will be a good lesson for young Taru if he plays on Jack Darling for a while today. Darling, 60 from the goal, he's defending, kicks over the wing, no one there, bounces favourably for Wilkie of the Saints. Hand pass to Sinclair, hands it to Marshall. Marshall hands it infield to Garcia near the bullseye, grabs a ball to half forward, intercepted by Daniel. That was messy. Darling now for the Kangas. His kicks off the side of the boot to the bullseye, spoiled away from Banch, picked up by Sinclair of the Saints, hands it to Wood, edge of the centre square on the wing, kicks to half forward, Hill marks, plays on, gets onto his right boot, kicks a deep entry towards the goal mouth, and a fly from Owens from 5, back nearly marked. Doesn't matter, Wanganeen Miller is underneath it. He's missed with the snap though. He received a hand pass there from Hall and Wanganeen Miller, and not enough curl on the kick. North Melbourne by 13.
Missed opportunity though, like competing against one another in the air, the Saints were, and Wanganeen Miller had a lot more time than probably what he thought he did.
3-4-22 to 1-3-9.
Daniel brings it into Logue inside the defensive 50. Joel Peterson, Quentin Hull, Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair with you. Logue kicks out toward the benches. Marshall with one hand. Got it down to Clark. Handball off to Taru. Loops the handball over the top toward Boxshall. The young West Australian can't keep it in. He's pressured by O'Sullivan and it goes out of play. And we do have a 5th member of our broadcast team, Q. The taxi has arrived and Lauren Borden's in position on the boundary. Hello, Loz.
Oh, thanks, Joel. It's nice to be here. I shared a flight with most of the Richmond team actually coming back down from the Gold Coast. So we all got delayed by about an hour and 45 minutes. A few engine troubles, but myself, the Richmond players, were all have arrived back in Melbourne at least and have been able to get here. So pretty warm conditions down here is probably the first thing I've noticed at the moment. But it's nice to be here.
We'll let you get settled, and then we're going to get more of that story, Lauren. McKercher at full back for the Kangas. Kicked well half-fully by Sheasel. Through the hands of Powell out to half back now. Ball's transferred to Banch, who takes it on right half back. Powell ran on, receives the hand pass. Kicks over the wing, it bounces favourably for Darling. Pressured late, but gets the kick to attacking 50, and Curtis flies to mark. Right on attacking 50, bounces up, plays on. Terrible inbound kick. That was nowhere near anyone. Hall in blue and white, that is. Hall there for the Saints. Gives to Sinclair. Kicks to half back. Hill marks. Hands back to Sinclair as the Saints run the corridor. Kick to left half forward. Marked by Big Heath. His hand pass is knocked away from him by Comben. Great work from the North defender. Wins his own crumb as well. Chips to Darling on the wing.
Oh, it's been comedy capers the last couple of moments. Darling puts it out in front of Curtis. Racing across there was Stocker. He can't keep it in either, and opportunities go begging for both of these teams as the ball rolls out of play at right.
So this is the difference from teams in the bottom 5 to teams in the top 5. Both teams should have scored on turnover then. North Melbourne have had 2 unbelievable opportunities and 2 really poor skill errors through foot.
Ball tossed back in, right half forward for the Roos. Marshall controls it down. Sheasel gets it away. Kick inside 50 from Powell to Larkey, who marks powerfully in front of Caminiti. That's the Nick Larkey that Roos fans know and love. And he's got a 25-metre set shot on a slight angle to the right.
Whether he meant to do that or not, as a forward, you love those kicks. Like, that was penetrating, perfectly height, perfectly weighted, just for your big fella to just come out. Not much as a key defender you can do, particularly with kicks well weighted like that.
Kick one to end the first, and he's got one to start the second, Nick Larkey. And the Roos continue to skip away from the Saints. Margin now out to 19 points, the biggest it's been in the ball game. 4-4-28 to 1-3-9. 5.5 gone in this second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Cal, they had 3 cracks at it, didn't they? They should have scored on the first one. They should have. Paul Curtis brought the ball back inside when he had one sitting at the top of the goal square. The second one was a turnover kick from Charlie Coleman, and who actually kicked that ball to Larky? It was a beautiful kick, and like you said,
I was Powell in the end.
Was it just as the forward? That's what you want. You want him leading, drawing the space in front of him.
Can I be quite critical of St Kilda bench? He's come off the ground, obviously really disappointed. Not one coach, not one team member has got around him. Literally just sitting there on his own.
Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey with you. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. North Melbourne leads by 19 points. Centre bounce. Marshall taps down to Wanganeen. Miller hands it back to his ruckman. Marshall with a high kick inside 50 for St Kilda. Owens takes the mark, offends though. Pushed Griffin Logue out of the contest. Free kick to the Kangas defender. Lauren on the boundary.
Just looking at Hugh Boxall, he's got a lot of physios and doctors around him at the moment. It looked like they were checking out his knee a little bit. I think the doctor gave him a thumbs up, but he's got a few surrounding him and helping him out at the moment.
Stay close to that. Dersma receives at left half back for the Kangas. High kick to a contest on the wing. Larky in front. Caminiti with the spoil. Rode by Sheasel at the Kangas. Hand passes to Powell on the wing. Short passes juggled but marked by Harvey. 2 touches there, Boomer.
Got to be cleaner than that.
This is the first time I've been able to call with Brent and Cooper, in the same game. Kick inside 50. Great mark from Taru. There was a big pack there, but the big blonde man, what do they call him? The Viking?
Flying Viking.
The Flying Viking. It was a Viking grab, not a Viking clap there. He kicks it back to the wing. Vindhager's there to take the mark. Plays on quickly with a hand pass to Hill. Cruising the dockside wing as he does. He kicks to attacking 50. Couple to beat for Hall. Numbers win out for North. Daniel the Rove hands it out the back to Powell. Powell to Sheasel, who'll set it up from half back.
It was only the second disposal for Marcus Windhager in the game. During that chain, Powell off half back, kicked it straight to Stocker, couldn't take the mark. Wardlaw's dragged to a stop, and we will have it tossed up. Loz downstairs.
Hugh Boxall looks all right. He's about to sub on now. He had to be pulled back for a second, but now he's running on straight into this contest.
Claremont kid comes out onto the ground. He almost ended up on the end of it. Did Garcia toe poke that out of play?
Sheasel.
In fact, it is off Sheasel. Good shout, Boomer. And so, young Hugo Garcia has got the footy. He played pretty well a couple of weeks ago before the wrist injury that kept him out for a fortnight or so. Back into the team, kicks it to the birthday boy, Jack McRae, 31 today, the former dog, couple of time All-Australian. First year at St Kilda. Drops onto his left boot, usually uses it well, kicks into the pocket. Marshall goes up. The 3 Saints flew against one another. And it's a free kick.
Yeah, it was a plain as day free kick going to Comben, and he got pushed out of it before the ball arrived.
On the TV replay, he's just flying out left of screen. Half his body's in there. His legs are everywhere, and there was 3 Saints in the contest.
It's really ill-discipline from the Saints forwards, to be honest. The kick to the wing, Saints have got it. Wilkie roved, hands to Taru to McRae. Infield to Wanganeen, Miller under pressure. Turned over. Davies Uniac, great gather, but his hand pass is pinched by Nass. Wanganeen, Miller in tight. Short kick. 15 maybe. Anyway, the ump paid it. Hall takes the grab, 70 from goal, kicks St Kilda to the pocket. Again, Owens flying from behind, couldn't take the mark. Powell underneath it for the Kangas, turns over his hand pass. McRae steals, hands to Higgins. Higgins snaps truly from the right forward pocket for the Saints second. North lead by 13 points. Kangas 4-4-28, Saints 2-3-15. And a Jack Higgins kind of finish. And brings up his 40th goal of the season.
You can't kind of teach awesome forward craft like that from Jack. That's a terrific finish there on his right peg from the boundary. But Wanganeen Miller, just incredible through the middle of the ground. Just the composure showed to just find someone, just lowered his eyes beautifully. But 3 times in the last 5 or 6 minutes, St Kilda are all competing against one another in the air, making life really difficult for themselves. I'm just watching the replay now. That's a great finish.
It's forward craft. And you mentioned it. He's going to have to kick a small bag for the Saints to win today. He's a star. He's a star. Didn't have much time then. It was 2 steps on his right boot. Really big angle and screwed the ball back around. It's forward craft. He'll be practicing that a lot at football training.
Is a small bag just a bag kicked by a small forward? Or is there
could be, yes.
Smaller amount of goals?
I was thinking probably 4 as a small bag.
A small bag, sort of like a little like one of those produce bags you get at the supermarket.
Put a couple of things in there and that's about it.
You're not putting the milk and the cereal in the small bag. From the restart, the Saints come away with it. Sinclair to Hasty. And now they can move it on with some intent. Long kick up the line from Burns. He was looking for Owens, who again was flying. He's such an exciting player to watch. Mitch Owens attacks the contest with such vigour. And it's out of play at left half forward. It'll be thrown back in. We are going to get a bit of story time today because we've got Loz downstairs who's just got here. And I reckon we've got a double agent at the back of the box. Of course, North Melbourne champion Brent Harvey. But he's playing for the Saints at the moment.
Oh, hold on. That's a ... At the back of the stoppage, McKercher for North Melbourne kicks it all the way back to fullback to set things up. Hardiman's there. And right on the last line of defence. Kangas lead by 13 points mid-second term. Hardiman's kick, well weighted. Harvey takes the mark on his chest, left half back. Kicks infield on the 45, not 15. McKercher grabs it. He's tackled immediately, holding the ball. Higgins there right on his hammer. And McKercher's looking at the ump saying, surely? No, it wasn't 15. Higgins with the free kick. 60 metres out, kicks to full forward. Almost a mark to Big Teakle in the pack there. Couldn't bring it to deck. And the ump comes in for a ball up.
15. They've been hot on that, haven't they?
Yeah.
So hot.
Ball thrown up. Ricochets around the contest. Hall tackled off his kick by Powell. Goes back to where the stoppage was. Ricochets to Owens. He's tackled by Logue. Lost it. Boxall's tackled. Umpire's whistle sounds.
A good pressure by North Melbourne. They had 3 cracks at it. And
previous tackle rewarded Boomer. It's Parker with the free kick.
Yep. Thought Mitch Owens was going to go the Daniel Wells for a second, then off the ground over his head in midair. Didn't quite make it happen. Here's McKercher inside the defensive 50. Tasmanian out to Dersma.
Got a spare play, you're going to have to try to use him. Bypass the spare a lot in today's football and just want to do this, kick the ball long.
12 disposals last week for Zane Dersma, the biggest tally of his season so far. Kicks long up the line, it's bashed back the other way in Saints' hands, and Garcia's come streaming away with it for St Kilda. He runs himself into a bit of bother, but handballs his way out of it to Marshall, who feigns around Harvey, put the step on, now gives it back to Garcia. Low kick inside the 50. Sharman rises up. Wangadeen Miller stayed down, threw it on his boot, and couldn't square up to goal. Out of bounds on the fall to the left. Roos by 13. We're 13 minutes through the second. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I've always been a believer of when you've got the football, why make it a 50-50? Yeah, it's got to be at least a 60-40 your advantage, but today we kick the ball down the line a lot to contest, and maybe that's the way North Melbourne want to play, to contest and try to start again from there.
Pink from the pocket has kicked it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to St Kilda at left half back. Just hold that thought, Cal. St Kilda about to come back into.
Can you get it out, mate? Come on.
Hasty. I thought they were going to pull the trigger and go in. Hasty's holding up in the wing. Now he puts a high kick back to a packet full forward. It's fisted by Sharman. An amazing spoil that ended up with the big man Heath. No one on him. 35 out, fluffed his lines, hooks it left, kicks a point. Go, Cal. 12 the lead to the Kangas.
Oh, the big Heath there, mate. Just wanted the career savers just to put it right. Don't cut me off.
It's not even a point. Sorry about that, Cal.
I wanted his career savers just to put it through the sticks then. But anyway, better luck next time, big fella.
Missed the barn, didn't make. It would have been one of the great goal assists. Cooper Sharman with the 30-metre fist. Would have been like Hugh McCluggage with the square-up kick last night. Like a cutback in the round ball game.
I will say, though, just forward of the ball, they're just lacking some sort of presence in Kilda at the moment. It's all down to luck and the ball hitting the ground, and just wonder if they put someone else forward.
Heath wins it down to McRae at the stoppage. Saints not taking the advantage. And the birthday boy gets a free kick back after having one paid against him in that opening term that was a little bit stiff. He hands it off to Wangadeen Miller, who works himself into trouble, arches the back, puts the afterburners on, cruises and kicks inside the 50 to Heath. And the big fella's got an opportunity to square up here. 40 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, I'm putting all my faith in the boogie boards he's wearing on his feet right now. So I tell you what, just that composure, I don't know how you'd explain it, mate. It's not my neck of the woods. It's more your neck of the woods, that sort of craft, mate, from Wangadeen Miller.
The first mistake, we'll let Heath try to have a shot on this goal and we'll talk after.
So he missed the last one out of bounds on the fullbacks. Heath kicked the first of the game.
from 45 metres out, strikes it. It's a better strike, but it's not that much better. It's only a minor score, and the margin is 12 points the way of North Melbourne. 15.5 gone in the second term.
The first mistake by North Melbourne is letting him just run around the back of any player, because they're going to give him the football. And then when he sees that Luke Davies-Uniacke is flat-footed and he's slightly on the move, he's going to have more momentum, and he's super quick anyway. He's quicker than most players in the league, so he's going to take the game on. You've got to be wary of it.
Very short inbound from McKercher finds Davies-Uniacke still at fullback, who kicks it out on the full. What's going on with these footies?
Yeah, flat. It must be flat.
Free kick to Wilkie at left half forward for St Kilda. Very short pass, just 15. McRae marks where boundary paint meets 50 paint at left half forward. McRae doesn't go for goal. Kicks it again to the big men at the top of the square. And a North Melbourne mark to Dersma. Gee, that was a good grab in the pack.
It was a great mark, wasn't it? Yeah. It's
a bit of just a glimpse into what this man can do. Just like him to do it, North fans, on a more consistent basis. Stevens comes outside the defensive 50 to Pink. A couple of players who plied their trade in the SANFL before making it to the top level and coming through the Swans before North Melbourne. Pink kicks down the line. Taru able to intercept and then gets dragged down and 50 metres.
It's funny, Boomer, what you were saying, like that long down the line stuff that Kangaroos are doing, they just can't seem to just change that up. They need to find some way to, I guess, penetrate and work the corridor, get a march in the middle of the ground, because this up and down the line stuff is just not working.
Well, I just don't understand it. I don't even think Nick Larkey was down the line then.
Taru's kick inside the forward 50, targeted Sharman. Stevens might have got a hand on it on the way through. Now back to Taru from where he took the last kick, 55 metres out. Kicks a scrambling punt inside forward 50. Windhager comes out, bashes it clear. I don't know what Zach Jones tried to do then. He left it for Clark. Clark kicks inside the forward 50. No one on the end of it in Saints colours. McKercher, he clipped legs with Owens. Might have given away a free kick after that. He did. Geez, unlucky there, Colby McKercher. He just clipped the leg of Owens on the way through, went tumbling down, and then diving onto the loose foot, he gave the free kick away. And Owens has got it 5 in from the boundary, 45 from home, right forward pocket.
So that last ball that North Melbourne goes down the line to, they've gone to Zurha, Harvey, Banch and Powell. Like, you're not going to take a pack mark. Zurha's probably the only one that's going to do that. Take the ball off the line.
Tough assignment here for Mitch Owens. He sinks his slipper into it from out wide on the arc, and he hits the left-hand upright. Gee, he gave that everything he had, and it was almost good enough. They're just chipping away at it, St Kilda. 11-point lead to North Melbourne, 18.5 gone in the second term.
Sheasel runs to the pocket, slots the ball to half-back, led by Hill, who gets in the way. Stevens was the target. Hill smashes it out of play for a throw-in.
They've conceded the Kangaroos with their ball at the moment. Everyone is just staying still. They're hitting that far flank or that far junction every single time, giving St Kilda nothing to think about.
I like the boundary umpire out on the city side. He's really having a go. Quite the demonstrative heave into play. And underneath it, nothing's happening. That's more entertaining than the stoppage. It's that young guy. He's having a great day.
He's doing a few K. I hope he's got his watch, his GPS on.
And he really opens his left side to use his right arm to sling it in with all the force. I mean, we see too many shallow throw-ins. I like the look of that young guy out there. From the stoppage left half forward here for the Saints. Clark's out the back for St Kilda. Kicks it back towards full forward. It lands in the lap of Owens, who juggles the mark. It just sort of plopped into his hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, controlling grab. He's marked it. 25 out, slight angle.
Just back on boundary umpiring, I've always wondered what exercises they would do. I reckon the kettlebell swing would be the would be the
nice.
Be the major exercise during the week.
Well, you know, you've been a part of it, Kay. You bemoan the shallow throw-in. I like that guy is giving 110% to every throw-in.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, Mitch Allen is setting up for the right-footed snap punt from the slight angle. 2 steps infield, and he struck it well. Right out of the meat of the right boot. And St Kilda back within a kick. The Saints have kicked 2 goals, 3 to North Melbourne's 1 straight in this second quarter. It was North by 14 points at quarter time. Now the lead is just 5 at the Kangas 4-4-28 to the Saints 3-5-23. 20 minutes played. Second term Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Callum Sinclair and Brent Harvey.
Well, I think it's just nice to break up that package of play that we were dealing with for 5 minutes, where the Kangas just could not get it out of their defensive 50. It was coming back. There was out in the fulls. There was stoppages. So I'll tell you what, I think we just completely needed that. But yeah, interesting. They're just getting their hands on it a little bit more. I guess the Saints now going inside 50, but I think that the challenge for the Kangaroos is how do they break away from this lacklustre ball movement.
Been a challenge for them all season. I think we've buried the lead on that boundary umpire too, because the strawberry blonde mullet is really the thing that stands out about that young man out there.
Only 3 inside 50s for North Melbourne for this quarter. We've played 21 minutes of football.
It's been tough sledding for the Roos after a pretty profitable opening term. Saints on top in the clearance game, 6-4. This one's coming to North though after the secondary ball up. Like Luke Davies-Uniacke in the centre circles. Doesn't see a lot that he likes, so he waits and waits and waits and then pumps it high and long inside the forward 50. Parker's among the targets. Darling front of the pack. Rode nicely by Boxall of the Saints. No injury concerns for him at the moment. Hands it out wide to Hill and to Burns, who kicks up the city wing. Heath playing in front. Takes a strong mark.
Comben chucked him into the deck after that.
He is able to play on, comes back in field. Wanganeen Miller arises on the front point of the square, not paid the mark. Good pressure from the Saints, but the Roos win it back. Little handball over the top from Teakle was crafty. Got it to Dersma, loops the handball through the middle. There's something going on off the play between Curtis and Stocker. Is it coming back to the Saints? It is. It'll be Windhager from halfway.
Marcus Windhager kicks it. It'll pitch on 50. Wanganeen Miller taps it backwards, hoping for Marshall. He evades him. Good commitment to the contest from Zerha. Clark out the back for St Kilda. Oh, there's 2 Saints down. Marshall and Jones are a bit hurt. Jones picks himself up. Meanwhile, ball gets to Hall at half forward for St Kilda on 50. Centering kick. Fly and grab from O'Sullivan. Nice mark from the talented youngster for North. And Lauren's still getting over her late arriving plane. She's got a bit of work to do at the moment. There's
why are we stopping the game?
Oh, because Marshall was in the hands of the trainer.
He's not now. He hasn't been in
a million miles away.
40 seconds.
So Sheasel now called to play on. Kicks to half back. Daniel marks in space. He's pursued by Higgins, but gets his kick to it. Around the boundary line. Out the back bench. Too good there for Hasty. Kicks to half forward. Bit of a grubber. Harvey does well. Picks up 60 metres out. Kicks it to Parker. Nudged underneath it by Stocker. And the Saints win out. Stocker roves his own crumb. Hands to Clark, who's having a bit of a day. And a short pass is marked by Jones, right half back. Lauren.
Zane Dersma came off as well in all of that. He's got a right finger issue, so he's getting that checked out at the moment on the bench.
Clark kicks up the line right in front of where Loz is sitting in front of the interchange gates. Jones cuts an aggressive kick into the corridor, looking for Garcia, coming over the top. Davies-Uniacke broke it up for North, picked up by Wardlaw, hands off to Sheasel, kicks and puts Banch on the back foot, but he lunges to take the mark. 48 metres out from goal. And Zach Banch will go back from the top of the 50 and try and strike for his first goal at the top level.
Well, he's going to have to kick this 52, 53 metres once he kicks it, and then clear the players on the goal square. So, I'm not sure he's got the distance in his.
He's had some good moments tonight, though.
He has.
He's a tough bugger, this guy. Yep. He's gone back with the flight a few times, put his head over the footy, and he's been cleaned up. So hopefully this is a good reward for his efforts today.
Mid-season draftee out of Yarrawonga via Williamstown, and Werribee loads up from right on the 50. He veered out to the right, knowing he wouldn't have the carry, and it just got through for a minor score. 4-5 plays 3-5, a goal in it, 24 gone, second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sports.
And again, Sinclair taking quite the moment to compose himself before deciding to run beyond the goal square to the pocket, and a long kick in for the Saints. Wood to the front of the pack takes the mark. Now his 5th year at St Kilda after his 6 at the Kangas. Chips in field. Boxall takes the grab at right half back. Boxall kicks it towards the boundary. A blatant push in the back from McKercher. Left and right hand, either side of the number 2 on Marcus Windhager's back. Free kick to the Saint. I think I even heard Lauren have a chuckle there. It was right in front of her. Windhager kicks it back to attacking 50 again. Owens flies. Went too early, but got knocked in the head by Comben. Free kick. He just mistimed his leap there, Owens, and Charlie Comben saying, "What, me?" Yep, he whacked into him. So Mitch Owens now, well, he's looked inboard twice. Hasn't kicked it. So now I think is settling over this set shot or otherwise. 45 degrees to the right. Man on the mark's 50 metres out. Owens just nurses it to the top of the goal square. Off knuckles through for a point.
Not a good kick, that one. You're 55, 60 out and you put the ball 3 metres to the goal line. Of course it's going to get punched through. It's got to go to the top of the goal square and give North Melbourne an option to say, right, if I punch these through, there's a chance they're going to score.
Kangas by 5 at 4-5-29 to 3-6-24.
Daniel into Hardiman. He drives it off half-back, looking up the line for Curtis. Well done from Sinclair. Tapped it intelligently to Clark. Back to Boxall, to Sinclair, who nurses his kick up the line, and Hardiman is able to intervene. West Aussie boy, he's been very handy down back for North this season. Daniel to McKercher, spins the Sherrin in his hands. Oh, and that's an awkward kick across the corridor. It was a poor kick. He made Wardlaw work for it and allowed Brad Hill to come in. And he had plenty of help. Hasty, Wanganeen Miller, back to Clark in the centre circles. Now to Windhager, between half forward and the centre, kicks inside forward 50. And Rowan Marshall put the head down the big fella there, and he charged inside the arc and floated in to take the mark, 40 out directly in front.
I don't get how McKercher misses a 20-metre kick by 5 metres. That there is a direct turnover, shot on goal. They kill you.
This is the strength of Rowan Marshall's game, just pushing hard on his ruckman, finding space inside 50 and getting shots on goal. He does more so of this over his career.
8-10 on the season so far for Rowan Marshall. He loves it as soon as he strikes it. And the Saints are back in front. Under the lid on a sunny Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. It's St Kilda who've kicked 3 goals into the term to hit the front once more. 4-6-30 to North Melbourne, 4-5-29. 27 and a half minutes gone in the second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Boomer Harvey and Callum Sinclair.
That's what I've always loved about Rowan Marshall, is that when he's playing his best, his ability to just read the footy and spread really hard offensively. And he's just run past 3 or 4, I guess, North Melbourne players there, and made the North Melbourne midfielders very accountable. But at his best, this is exactly what he's doing.
Cal, it's hard to... You never want to be negative as a commentator, but that right there from McKercher, who's a very, very, very skillful player, gee, they hurt you. Like, that's turned over 75 metres out from St Kilda's goal. 1 kick, Marshall goal.
So from 19 points down, the Saints have now kicked the last 3. They're a point in front, back of the stoppage in the centre. Daniel for North Melbourne kicked to half forward, sets Curtis at task, couldn't pick it up. Clark's having a huge day. Meanwhile, Curtis is wrestling out the back. I'll keep an eye on the footy. Clark's kicked towards half forward, a 2-on-2. Would the Saints target, had it fisted away by McKercher, out of play for a throw-in. Curtis has been in a few of those little...
Yeah, he's taken the angry pills today.
Yeah, a few of those little dust-ups. Who's he on at the moment? Sinclair, I think. Anyway, ball's going to be thrown in between wing and right half forward for the Saints. Almost 29 minutes second term. Not as an aesthetically pleasing throw-in from the boundary ump on this side. Still a pretty good one, though. Ricochets back towards the boundary. Parker there for North. Hand passes infield to Powell. Hands it to Daniel. Kicks from left half back. Over the wing. Darling the target. Taru the spoil. Boundary the victor. Toss it in just forward of halfway. So North 14 in front at quarter time. Larkey kicked the first goal of the quarter to see that margin go out to 19, but St Kilda has kicked, Joel, 6 of the last 7 scores of the game. 3-3 to a point.
They've hit the front, closing it on half-time here at Docklands. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Teakle puts his head over it. Laney T scoots in and says, mine. We'll have a ball up between the wing and half forward.
North Melbourne set up really well behind the ball. Toby Pink, the only player inside the defensive 50 for North Melbourne. St Kilda win this, he'll come forward and intercept.
No one within 40 yards of him. Saints do try and win it at the stoppage. Garcia, he puts his head over it. And this time it's McRae who's dragged down by the opposite number 6 Wardlaw. And we'll have a ball up close to the boundary line. Saints by a point. Ticking down toward half-time. This Sunday afternoon. This time it's Stevens who's happy to walk it across in front of the Saints bench, where Jack Steele still waits as captain, the unactivated sub. Robert Hanson Jr. is there for North Melbourne, yet to be used, as we toss it back in.
You've handed it over to me, Joel, with 2 seconds left in the half. Either you knew the clock was ticking down and it was my job to do housekeeping at half time, or you thought, nah, I'm going to ease down through the line for this first half of footy.
There's only a month left in the season, Q.
We're all
in management mode. I'm like Jack Steele. I'm just being managed.
Exactly. That is half time at Docklands. And the Saints are going to go to the break with a 1 point lead. By the way, Lauren Borden, don't go anywhere. We're going to get your story of your trip back home before we get to the news. It is St Kilda 4-6-30 to North Melbourne 4-5-29. So St Kilda kicking 3 goals 4 in that term to North's 1-1. Heath, Higgins, Owens, Marshall, they're your goal kickers for the Saints. Davies, Uniac, Sheasel, Larkey times 2, your goal kickers for North. Before Loz's story, how about the story of the footy? Yes, that should take priority. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, how have we got here?
Well, North Melbourne just went stagnant, didn't they? For me, it's a little bit of what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because the person with the ball's got it, looking for movement, but the guys don't want to move because they know where the ball's going. It's going long down the line. So if you move and get out of position, you're not going to get an opportunity to get the football. So the chicken and the egg for me, they didn't look like they played like that in the first quarter. They were shifting the ball off the line, taking the ball back through the middle, and that one there, they were just really happy to go long down the line. When Nick Larkey's not at that contest, there's no other tools that North Melbourne can kick to. Zerhard's your next best marking option, and he's not going to take a pack mark when there's 4 or 5 players on him. So a little bit disappointing that quarter from North Melbourne. 3 goals to 1 St Kilda's way, and St Kilda looked like they got a little bit of speed on the ball again. Marshall floating forward, finished with a nice goal. Missed a couple of opportunities too. I didn't think Owens kicked that ball to a great spot. I think both teams need to drop their eyes going into forward 50. It's a big part of football for me, and I don't think many teams do it very well at all.
In the story of the game, I think both teams have definitely got, I guess, talent to perform at this level, but the lack of polish, I feel like, from both sides. Yep. And you made the point earlier in that game, there is a real clear gap between, call it a top 6 team and where both these teams are at. A lot of it, you can bring it down to like game plan, strategy, all that sort of stuff. But there is a lot of, I guess, not necessarily, I hate being critical of, I guess, skill level, but you just see how much it lets you down when you can't, correctly execute a handball. You can't, I guess, set up correctly, like it's long down the line. It's really, really quite difficult. But I think both teams are having problems going inside 50. It feels like they're just kind of lacking someone down there, both sides. I think if you look at kind of St Kilda, I've said it before, Jack Higgins is going to have to, unfortunately for a small forward, he's probably going to have to kick forward tonight to actually, for them to be a chance. At the other end, Nick Larkey, he needs to set up correctly, but him and Jack Darling, if they can get it into those guys efficiently, there's some goals sitting there just waiting for them. So, bit of an interesting sort of first half. I think the disposal count was 170 to St Kilda to 198 North Melbourne. So St Kilda kind of fought their way back into it that quarter. You just felt like, but fair bit to go, I think.
Thanks, Cal. Thanks, Brent. So 4-6 to 4-5. St Kilda is in front. The news from Cardinia Park: Connor Rosie's not playing for Port. He's ill. Dylan Williams comes into the team for the Power. And the subs are Hugh Jackson for Port and Jack Martin for Geelong. So that game getting underway in about 25 minutes from now. Available for you on the ABC Listen app. Look for the red and blue AFL button. If you're with us on local radio through the West, we'll roll through here, keep you up to date from Cardinia Park, Freo and Carlton to come later today. Now, just because, well, we like telling stories, and also as the public broadcaster, we like full disclosure as to why decisions are made and so forth. So I've had people asking me, it's like, why are you calling this game in Melbourne? Haven't you done enough? Like, you're in Sydney for the rugby last night. You've been asked to come and do the Docklands game. And then I was sort of explaining to them, our planning producer, Andrea Williamson, has had a win. That's why she's the best in the game. Because I was saying, look, because I had to go to Sydney to do the rugby, we needed someone to go to the Gold Coast to do the Suns-Richmond game. And Joel, we know that Kez is close, so we couldn't put Joel on a plane, he would have been too nervous as, impending father. So the matrix led to me coming here to call this game in case, Lauren, in case of what?
Well, I think I drew the short straw in this one, didn't I? I got an 84-point drubbing yesterday and then stuck on a plane for 4.5 hours. So engine issues. You never want to be told engine issues when you're sitting on the plane. They got an engineer to fix it. It was basically the entire Richmond team was there. Jonty Fall had an exit row, but he got told you actually can't have that because he's in a full knee brace and he's got crutches because he injured his knee. So he had to be moved as he was boarding. He gave his boarding pass and the air hostess said, no, you're going to have to switch to someone. So they got that sorted out and then we waited. We waited.
And the reason why I was then brought to Melbourne, because we thought, the flights from Gold Coast to Melbourne, there's not as many of them. You can work till 1 a.m. out at the rugby, get up early and get on an early flight out of Sydney to come to Melbourne in case Loz doesn't get to the ground in time. And guess what?
It worked.
Andrea Williamson, she is the best. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Full disclosure of the public broadcaster as to the things that go on beneath the surface here. And I just thought it tickled my fancy, and it'll tickle a few others, that indeed the worst case scenario did play out. So I'm glad you're here, Loz. And I'm glad that Joel's not nervous, and if Kez makes a phone call, he can disappear. You can jump up in the box and call with me, but we didn't have to start calling the game by himself today.
I don't think you'd have any tougher weekends in football if you're Richmond. An absolute, pantsing and then having to be on a plane for 4.5 hours. You're just sitting there going, get me out of here.
Talk about the last things you need.
Yeah, correct. Get this thing, Anyway, well, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
All the best.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of behind the scenes as to how the ABC Sport machine works.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Just get on the plane.
There's always a reason, isn't there, Brent?
100% there is. I'm just getting a couple of text messages from a couple of ex-North Melbourne boys sitting over there. Joel, got Callum Murch and Levi Greenwood. They said to me, put my hand up. And I said, yeah, you too, Levi. I thought you meant go out and play. I was like, no, I can see you in the commentary box.
Levi Greenwood, he's playing local footy as well.
Is that at Reservoir?
Yes, that's it. It's the mighty Mustangs up there in Reservoir.
Divi 2 in the Northern Footy League.
Yep, and I'm interested to hear how the Saints went yesterday. Boomer, North Melbourne legend, playing for the Trentham Saints in country footy here in Victoria against the Newstead Kangaroos. Against the blue and white.
The old opposite, wasn't it?
Did your brain ever have a moment there yesterday?
Say it again?
Did your brain have a moment when you had the footy looking for your teammates?
No, it didn't, because it's been a long time since my first game when I finished playing AFL football and went to play for North Heidelberg. My first game was against a team that wore North Melbourne jumpers, and I was sceptical that I was going to get the ball and give a quick handball or something like that, but no, not yesterday.
Nothing in this world is free. Can you disclose, I guess, the arrangement that was going on in the background with the footy club?
Well, Cal, I have got some friends up there. I tell you what, I'll give you one thing, right? The first game I played up there, I was driving up there, and I promise you, took a phone call from a guy from Tasmania and said, can you come and play a one-off game with us, and we'll give you X amount. It is 5 times the amount that I was getting to go up to sunny Trentham, which it was yesterday, Joel.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? But no, there is...
love of the game.
I get some petrol money. I get some petrol money to get up there and back.
So a bit of story time.
That is expensive.
As well. Thanks, guys. Great to just share a little bit outside of the football here. The main fare, though, Saints lead by a point at half-time, 4-6 to 4-5. Sunday footy on ABC Sports. Stick around, second half, after the latest from the newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters are marching across the Sydney Harbour Bridge to highlight the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Pablo Vanellis is there.
Despite the heavy rain, thousands have joined the Palestine Action Group in marching across the Harbour Bridge after New South Wales police unsuccessfully sought a prohibition order to prevent the protest. Today, about 700 officers are facilitating the march. Organisers say they were determined the peaceful march go ahead and hope the demonstration on the Australian landmark will send a powerful message to the international community. The bridge will remain closed to north and southbound traffic for a few hours.
Meanwhile, speakers at Melbourne's pro-Palestine demonstration are reiterating their aim to peacefully protest and have criticised police and sections of the media for suggesting the march could become violent. Organisers are telling protesters not to cause chaos and that the intention is for the wider community to understand what's happening in Gaza. Protesters are expected to march from the State Library through the Melbourne CBD before blocking the King Street Bridge. National co-convener of Students for Palestine Australia, Bella Baraghi, says protesters will not disrupt emergency services.
I think it's really important that for anyone who stands up for humanity, that we, are here today to march for Gaza. Melbourne doesn't quite have the Sydney Harbour Bridge, but I think that it's just really important that we do take to the streets and disrupt the streets for Gaza.
Protesters have gathered at Hostages Square in the Israeli city of Tel Aviv, demanding an end to the war in Gaza. It comes as Hamas and Islamic Jihad release a video showing 2 hostages being held in a dark tunnel in an emaciated state. Efrat Machikawa, a relative of released hostage Gadi Moses, says the Israeli government must take ceasefire efforts seriously.
Negotiations were active and intense, and now they have been derailed. We will not get our children back unless the Israeli government places a real initiative on the table.
Warlpiri elder Ned Hargraves is calling on the Prime Minister to intervene in the Northern Territory to prevent more deaths in custody. Indigenous Affairs reporter Christy Wawawa reports from Arnhem Land.
At the annual Garma Festival, senior Warlpiri leader Ned Hargraves delivered an emotional letter directed at Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. He pleaded with him to stop the Northern Territory's tough-on-crime policies. Mr Hargraves' grandson died in police custody in Alice Springs in June. In the letter, he said his community is suffering and needs urgent help. Meanwhile, CLP's Health Minister Steve Edgington says the policies aren't making things worse and are making the community safer.
A federal appeals court in the United States has upheld an order blocking the Trump administration from carrying out indiscriminate immigration arrests in Southern California. The order was made as part of a lawsuit accusing officials of systematically targeting brown-skinned people and includes 2 detained U.S. citizens as plaintiffs. The Trump administration argued the order hindered law enforcement activity, but the appeals court upheld the ruling and questioned why the government would oppose an order preventing them from violating the Constitution. Queensland police are investigating a suspicious early morning fire at a tobacconist in the Somerset region. More from Joshua McIntosh.
The blaze broke out at the tobacco store on the Brisbane Valley Highway at Fernvale around 3 o'clock this morning. It took 9 crews about an hour and a half to contain the fire. The shop has been destroyed. No one was hurt. A crime scene has been declared while investigators work to determine what caused the blaze. Police are seeking witnesses and any relevant CCTV or dashcam footage as investigations continue.
Air and water search efforts are underway for a light aircraft that failed to arrive in New South Wales Central West from Tasmania yesterday. Police say the plane departed Georgetown Airport in the state's north yesterday afternoon. They say the pilot and passenger were headed for regional Victoria and then on to New South Wales Central West, but did not reach their stopover destination as scheduled. And wild weather has cut power to more than 10,000 homes across WA's southwest with heavy rain and strong winds bringing down trees and power lines. Rockingham and Mandurah south of Perth have been the hardest hit, with the State Emergency Service responding to dozens of calls for help. A severe weather warning for damaging wind gusts is in place for the southwest from Jurien Bay to Esperance, including Perth and Kalgoorlie. You're up to date with ABC News. You can get more news at any time by downloading the ABC Listen app.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
So this is the difference from teams in the bottom 5 to teams in the top 5. Both teams should have scored on turnover then. North Melbourne have had 2 unbelievable opportunities and 2 really poor skill errors through foot.
Marshall controls it down. Sheasel gets it away. Kick inside 50 from Powell to Larkey, who marks powerfully in front of Caminiti. That's the Nick Larkey that Roos fans know and love. Kicked one to end the first, and he's got one to start the second. Nick Larkey And the Roos continue to skip away from the Saints.
Hand passes to Powell on the wing. Short passes juggled but marked by Harvey. 2 touches there, Boomer.
Got to be cleaner than that.
Powell underneath it for the Kangas. Turns over his hand pass. McRae steals. Hands to Higgins. Higgins snaps truly from the right forward pocket for the Saints second. Clark's out the back for St Kilda. Kicks it back towards full forward. It lands in the lap of Owens, who juggles the mark. 2 steps infield, and he struck it well. Right out of the meat of the right boot. And St Kilda back within a kick.
Half forward in the centre, kicks inside forward 50. And Rowan Marshall put the head down the big fella there, and he charged inside the arc and floated in to take the mark, 40 out directly in front.
Oh, I don't get how McKercher misses a 20-metre kick by 5 metres. That there is a direct turnover, shot on goal. They kill you.
8-10 on the season so far for Rowan Marshall. He loves it as soon as he strikes it. And the Saints are back in front.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Half the game down and 2.5 to go to complete round 21. Welcome back to Docklands. It's Quentin Hull and the team for St Kilda and North Melbourne. So Geelong and Port not too far away, about 15 minutes away from that game at Cardinia Park. We'll keep you updated here. You can hear it on the ABC Listen app if you'd like. There's a late change to the Port Adelaide team. Connor Rosie's out with an illness. Dylan William comes into play for the Power. Hugh Jackson, the sub for Port. Jack Martin, the sub for Geelong. Later on today, it's Fremantle against Carlton out at Perth Stadium. Those of you listening in the West will roll from here into that game. Both the Kangas and the Saints have emerged after an even first half of football. St Kilda 4-6-30 to North Melbourne's 4-5-29. The Kangas leading by 14 points at quarter time, but North, after kicking the first goal of that second quarter, outplayed by the Saints. So North Melbourne kicking only 1-1 to St Kilda's 3-4 in that term. St Kilda 4-6-30 to North Melbourne's 4-5-29. Keep your messages coming on 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. Dan from Perth, it's an interesting one this. He texts, Saints have less talent, better system. Kangaroos have more talent, less system. Who improve next year? Well, it's an interesting statement, but
that's a pretty good way to frame it from Dan, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. We'll get our expert to think about it in a moment. G'day to Beansy from Broadford, who was very concerned a couple of weeks ago when my voice gassed out during the end of Friday night footy. But he's like, sorry, I've come in late today. Love hearing you, Q. After last weekend's comeback, you can do every Saints game. Keep that voice strong.
Broadford, another place where the local footy team is, the Kangaroos.
Okay. Yep.
Been in recess for a couple of years, but they're back next year, and Nathan Thompson is coaching them. Boomer, former teammate of yours.
Yes, Tomo. Big Tomo. Got a good footy brain, Tomo. He comes to our past players' functions and sits there and critiques the game quite well, actually.
Yeah, former coach and player of the Kyneton Footy Club in your new adopted neck of the woods.
Not far. Drove through Kyneton yesterday.
He played for Hawthorn as well, Nathan Thompson?
He did, yep.
Yeah, yep. There's a name. Blast from the past. He's Joel Peterson. We've got Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey in the experts' chairs. Lauren Borden is downstairs. So a couple of minutes before we get this second half underway, I'm likening it to this. It's like the undercard of a big fight night. These aren't the best guys, but sometimes those fights are entertaining because they're having a real go and it's close. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I'd say so because we've got 1 point in it, so the scoreboard says
and it's not pretty.
It's very close. It's not pretty because the ball movement from both teams are not. I would love both teams to say, you know what, let's throw caution to the wind and offensively see what we've got. We'll still try to set up defensively behind the ball, but let's start taking the ball back through the middle. Let's change angles. Let's make them defend a little bit more. Let's drop our eyes when we go inside forward 50 and see if they can defend. Just try something slightly different to what we're seeing at the minute. Again, I come back to North Melbourne, stagnant ball movement because they just kick the ball down the line. It ends up being a 50-50. We get a stoppage and we start again. And neither team can score quick on a turnover, Cal. That's my big thing. The good teams will turn the ball over 80, 90 metres out from goal, and more often than not, they're scoring from
and they're slow to react off that as well. Like, particularly when you get good team, when they even sight or sniff a slight, I guess, glimmer of a turnover, it's like all 18 players are completely, they just jump out of their seats and just completely go hard, go forward. Seems to be some confusion here with St Kilda of their setup, but Marshall starting forward, which I think is actually a pretty good move, to be brutally honest. I think they're just lacking some sort of key target down there. If he can pop up with a couple of goals this half, that's going to assist guys like Higgins, give them a bit more of a focal target up forward.
Probably see how Heath goes in the ruck too, because if he can break even here with Teakle, 100%, he's a great asset to have forward.
Point the margin in favour of St Kilda as the third term begins under the roof with Joel Peterson.
So can the Saints reprise their second half heroics from last week? North got, after such a disappointing performance last week, Garcia streams through the stoppage, gave it to Wanganeen Miller, almost handed it to him on a platter, wanted it back. Wanganeen Miller kicks up the line and finds Higgins, who's presenting out from half forward, and Wanganeen Miller scoots past, tries to carve the kick inside forward 50. Dangerous position, Saints with numbers. Sharman gives it to Marshall outside of the boot, was crafty. He just couldn't get the required angle on it. But it's a fast start for the Saints. They stretch that margin to 2 points, 30 seconds into the third.
Naz again gets the ball, goes and gets it, wraps around. I'm not sure who's playing. Wardlaw started on him in the centre bounce, but then they just sort of separate. He's on him now, but he's too quick for Wardlaw. He's too quick and fit around the ground.
McKercher, short inbound to Daniel. Took a bounce, changed angle, fell over, got up, kicks it to left half back, off the hands of the pack. Sinclair rose for St Kilda, puts the Saints back into attack, kicks across the face of goal, but a smart kick. Cooper Sharman's in space to mark, uncontested 40 from goal.
It is funny, like this Wanganeen Miller situation, like talking about a tag, but I've always felt like the good tags that are, I guess, executed well, it's a bit of a whole team focus.
Yes.
Whereas I feel like someone's kind of on him, but he really is the only guy for St Kilda that's igniting them. So you kind of feel like if you just took that away from St Kilda, they're probably in a good situation, North Melbourne.
Slight angle for Sharman, nice kick. Puts his right finger to the roof as soon as he strikes it with his right boot. And Cooper Sharman's 27th goal of the season. It's his first of the day. And St Kilda has now kicked the last 4 goals in the game. The Saints have their biggest lead of the contest. They're out by 8. St Kilda 5-7-37 to North Melbourne 4-5-29.
Well, I was never tagged, so I probably can't comment, but you would probably understand this more than anyone, Boomer, that if you got 18 players at you on a footy field, it's just debilitating. Like after a quarter, you go, I'm in for the biggest day.
It is, and that's why Cameron Ling was the hardest to play on, because I felt I could beat him with pace, but as soon as I got outside him and was 5 metres, somebody else would just go and knock you over, and then the ball transitions and Cameron Ling's on the end of it. Yeah. That's why he was so hard to play on. We know what Naz is going to do. He's going to wrap around. He's a beautiful kick. Why wouldn't you give him the football? North Melbourne need to be aware of that.
Saints didn't tag you in Rowan Marshall's debut, did they? When you kicked 5 goals 3 that day. Like Davies Uniac comes streaming out of the middle for North Melbourne, kicks to full forward. Zaha!
Believe it or not, I had a forward tag on Jake Carlisle that day.
Marks, wheels around immediately and provides North Melbourne with an instant response. First goal of the afternoon for Cam Zurha. And that margin back to 2 straight away. 3 minutes gone, second term. And gee, if this is a treat, a slice of what we're in for in this second half, strap in, folks. This could be a lot of fun. 3 minutes gone. We've got 2 goals already. Let's go downstairs. Lauren Borden.
And North have made their sub. Zach Banch has come off. So the young boy has come off sitting at the back of the bench. He looked a bit sore. He was chatting to physios. And he's getting just a few pats on the back, I guess, to console him a little bit. So I'll find out what's wrong with him. But Robert Hanson Jr. obviously is just making his way to the front of the bench. He's actually run on now. And we'll jump into the game for the North.
So number 44 kicks the goal. Number 45 is off. And number 46 comes on.
The numbers game. I love it. Can we just go back to Cal for a second? Hang on. So you started in the forward line tagging and kicked 5.
I had a defensive tag on Jake Carlisle, and the good taggers, mates, hurt you.
They do.
And I heard Jake Carlisle that day. So.
Centre bounce, Teakle went low, couldn't pick up. Free kick though. And it is going to go to the North big man. He's number 43, by the way, to keep that progression going.
That was the last goal kicker.
Yeah, 43 to 44, exactly. And Sharman kicked, he's 43 too. Anyway, turned over at half forward for North. Wanganeen Millera reefed off it without the ball. Ump says play on. There's about 3 on him this time. In comes help from Stocker. Wins it. Hand passes to Windhager, edge of the centre square. Hands it to Wanganeen Millera like a scooter through a European backlock. He found a way when it was very congested. Hand passes turned over though. Pinched by the Kangas. Nice kick to half forward. Taken by Darling. 70 from goal. Slots it to the leading Larkey. I wanted to give some credit. It was Wardlaw at the start of that chain as well, who helped see North Melbourne transfer to Nick Larkey. Tough angle, man on the mark, 40 to 45 out.
And that was the first bit of physical pressure I've seen on Naz all game. That was from Paul Curtis, who's been pretty aggressive today, but knocked him on his backside, and that's what they need to do, make it hard for him.
So Larkey's got a couple already today. First game back from a 3-game absence with that knee injury, and he's kicked the 3rd goal. North Melbourne is back in front. Nick Larkey with a fine key forwards finish. Renowned for it, but he's had the yips at times this year. That's some of his better stuff. Kangas 6-5, 41 to the Saints 5-7, 37.
Well, this is a better start. There's 3 goals in 5 minutes, Cal. So ball movement by the Kangaroos there. It's quick ball movement as well. Jack Darling, surprise, surprise, drop his eyes, hit a key forward, leading at the football, not running away from the ball. The game's not that hard when you don't need it to be.
No, but forwards know how forwards want it, though.
That's a good call.
It's a great sign that Darling to Larkey, that's what they brought Darling into the club for, just to give Larkey a bit of a chop out. Can kind of help him probably stay a bit closer to goal than probably play up the ground when Jack Darling isn't there. But terrific finish, though.
Beautiful draw on it from Nick Larkey, just right when he needed it. Swung it from right to left and inside that right-hand post. Davies Uniacke with the clearance at the restart, powerfully. Sends it out wide by hand to O'Sullivan, who missed Davies Uniacke with the return handball. He was good enough to butter up, get onto it. He fended off Hill, got tackled, went to ground holding the ball.
That's good umpiring now. Some umpires would probably pay that as a free kick, but he went to ground.
He went to ground,
yeah,
absolutely. But that's Finn O'Sullivan missed that handball to LDU again. Kangas would have had an inside 50. Now they're chasing tail.
And 274 for Brad Hill this afternoon. Sends it up the line. Owens had a play at it and then sort of dribbled it to himself, basketball style. Pops the kick out wide to Hill, 55 metres out. He goes back behind the mark and wants to assess the options. And when you've got this man inside forward 50, why not kick it in his direction? Wanganeen Millera marks. He's kicking from 45, maybe 50 metres out. And if his last 2 set shots on goal are anything to go by, of course, to end last week, he is a very pure strike of the football.
It's a fair run-up.
A fair afternoon already. 25 disposals, 7 clearances, 6 score involvements, 5 inside 50s, 12 contested possessions. A behind to his name so far. He struts in, sinks the slipper into it and misses it to the right-hand side.
You say he's had 26 disposals now?
26 disposals, Boomer.
Did we speak before the game to see if anyone was going to go near him? We did, didn't we?
Yep.
Just want to check. Okay, thank you.
Comben receives the kick in the right back pocket, kicks to half back. Curtis presents to Mark. Lauren on the boundary.
On Zach Banch, who's been subbed off North, they're saying that it's a rib issue for him. So a product out of Werribee. He's now sitting next to the former Werribee coach Michael Barlow and now development coach at North on the bench at the back of it.
Thank you, Lauren Borden on the boundary. Curtis kicks to a pack on the wing. No mark. Parker foraging for it for North Melbourne. Couldn't really pick it up. Jones has a go. A couple of ex-Swans having a crack at each other there. And Jones is locked up by the tackle of Powell. Ball up.
It's kind of getting a bit old mentioning it, isn't it? About the lack of attention of Millera. It's incredible.
The scorpion kick from Marshall at the stoppage. He was held. Play on to advantage as Garcia picks up. Has 2 bounces to attacking 50. Left foot centering kick. It's well balanced. But they're paying the mark to Burns. Yep. For a moment, Joel was giving me the push in the back. Poor old Caleb Daniel. He was just held away from the drop by Burns. He'll have a shot. Point blank, 25 out.
He was in a terrible position. Don't worry about his height. He was just in a terrible position to defend that. He had his back to the ball. He was...
How many Supercoach points for a scorpion kick clearance? for Rowan
quite
Marshall.
smart, wasn't it?
Just sort of flicked the back of his boots.
Half scorpion kick, half donkey kick, I reckon.
Burns straight in front. Right foot kick is true. St Kilda return to the lead. This is what we wanted. Two teams that have really got to show their supporters they're giving everything, despite the season starting to ebb away. And it's thrust and parry here. St Kilda 6-8-44. North Melbourne 6-5-41. Lauren on the boundary.
There are a fair few injuries and niggles today, so now it's Mitch Owens who's coming off. The doctor's running out to him. He's just at a walk, really, coming across the interchange gate, so he's got a sore leg, and Jack Steele, as I speak, is just running on the boundary line, so we'll keep a watch on him.
They saved them all for when you rocked up, Loz. We just waited until we knew you were here and we had some confidence in our ability to tell the story from downstairs, and that's when they start going down like flies, Boomer.
The rooms as well, Mitch Owens.
So, Cal, just when you called that and said you're getting sick of saying how much space he's got, I scanned the ground to find him. He was in 6 metres of space at a stoppage. This is a guy who's had 8 more possessions than anybody else. 4 more possessions than Harry Sheasel, but the best player for St Kilda for the whole year.
Maybe the best player in the game at the moment, and here he is again at the clearance. He just bounces it around to himself. Didn't take clean possession, but fashioned it to Windhager, to McRae, handballs it to Stocker, now to Wangadine Miller. Just cuts his kick up the line to Jones. 27 disposals now for Nazaya Wangadine Miller. Jones kicks inside the forward 50. Woods got the sit. Backing back was low. Couldn't take the mark. Heath picks it up for the Saints inside the forward 50. Fast hands from Wardlaw was terrific. He got it out wide. Powell kicks to Hanson, who's into the game as the sub for the Roos. Now to Parker. Aggressive kick up the middle. Terrific hit. Finds Powell just defensive side of halfway.
Has to take a moment. Chisels the pass to Dersma. Hand passes to the running Wardlaw. Has a bounce on 55. Got the speed wobbles, but still kicks the goal. Whoa, the bounce almost evaded him. He almost got closed down. And it was McKercher on the run. I got the speed wobbles there, got the wrong bloke. McKercher with the goal for North Melbourne. And they're back in front at 7-5-47 to 6-8-44.
I like McKercher, Harry. Just thought, you know what, I'm going to take the game and I'm going to take control. And, probably had a couple of options he could have hit, he could have got. No one actually came at him, to be brutally honest. Which is
or running back again.
But he just thought, nah, I'm going to finish this.
It was a great... he's got an amazing burst of speed, McKercher. Probably up there with the best I've seen from, probably 12 to 15 metres. He can just accelerate and go away from people. Beautiful finish too, on the run. A little bit hard to do when you're going at full pelt, but he managed that really, really well.
11 goals, 1 on the season now for young Colby. So when he gets his opportunities, he makes them count. Darling in the middle for the restart. Curls the kick forward and Hanson's up to mark on the front point of the square. Takes it in front of Stocker. Left foot kick inside the 50. Zerha. The two West Aussies connect. Cal Wilkie screaming at the Saints defence after he was led to the footy. And Cam Zerha, with one to his name, will have a 50-metre shot from a slight angle.
But that's how you got to play on Wilkie, you know what I mean? You got to come at the footy and your midfielders have to know, I guess, who's playing on him and make him accountable in that respect.
So 3 last week for Zerha, 36 on the season. To put the Roos 9 points to the good, he sits it right on the behind line through for a minor score. 4 points the margin, 12.5 gone third term. We've had 5 goals in that 12 minutes. Let's go downstairs to Loz.
And St Kilda have made their sub, so Jack Steele, the captain, is now coming into the game, and it looks like it's Mitch Owens. He hasn't emerged back from the rooms at this stage, so it looks like he's the player that'll be subbed off.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. Wilkie with the short inbound to the pocket. Clark in space marks. Runs to half-back. Hunter Clark with a long kick for St Kilda. Looking for Marshall. Spoiled away by Darling. Rode by Jones of the Saints. Hand pass doesn't create much. Crashing through Sheasel. He's dispossessed St Kilda's ball. Garcia with a hand pass to Jones on the wing. Kicks inside 50. Out the back of the pack. Hanson's tackled. Got a hand pass clear. Play on. Curtis is there helping out. His hand pass puts Hardiman under pressure. Right to the goal line now. Daniel there to clean up, and he's tackled over the line for a rush point.
Not a lot of players do that anymore, rush that point, because they're so scared of the result. But that was smart by Caleb Daniel.
3 points the lead to North. Lauren, who's that sub?
It is Mitch Owens that's come out, and it's a hamstring injury for him. So he did limp across to the bench. He could barely walk straight down into the rooms, and the Saints have said it's a hamstring.
So you think that's probably his campaign done. Wobbly kick outside the defensive 50 came from Hardiman, scooped up by Caminiti. Kicks the Saints inside the forward 50. 2 hands to it for Wood. Couldn't mark. Burns through the contest. Dispossessed by Wardlaw. Dragged down. Daniel puts his head over it for North Melbourne. Extracts it and kicks clear of the defensive 50. Finds Zerha. Who marks down low at right half back. Roos 7-6. Saints 6-9. 5 goals in 14 minutes here in this third term. After we had 8 kicked in the entirety of the first half. Zerha chips it wide for Daniel, who just marks inside the boundary line, defensive side of the wing.
The helmeted little man, Caleb Daniel, plays on now with a right foot kick towards a pack at half forward. Big fist from Taru from the Saints. And it rolls out of play, almost conceded before it went over. Steele's out there. So good to see him into the action. Not so much the circumstance of which he's there, with Mitch Owens pulling a hammy, and yeah, you'd think with what inside the final month of the home and away season, we might not see him again this year. Boundary throw in. Hansen underneath it for North Melbourne, tackled immediately by Windhager, no prior. Ball up.
And just wouldn't play him now. It does raise the question though, and you said earlier, Cal, who kicks their goals? Now they're another less target up front, the Saints.
Ball up. Marshall taps down to McRae. Nice lock from Curtis immediately, and that was a very quick call from the umpire to call for another baller. Tosses it into the air. Darling against Marshall. Marshall with the the left-handed palm gets it to the boundary. Davies Uniac can't keep it in. He's got company from Wanganeen Millera. Out of play for another throw-in. North Melbourne 7, 6:48. St Kilda 6-9, 45. It was the Kangas by 14 at quarter time. The Saints by a point at half time. It's been tight enough. It's been okay. It's been a pretty good watch, Joel.
It's been entertaining, that's for sure. Both of these teams with both of the fan bases have got plenty of hope at this stage. It's wrapped up again, and we spoke about the quick ball up decision. We'll see plenty of that in the AFLW season, which starts in about a fortnight's time. Watching a couple of pracky games over the last couple of days, the umpires have been moving the game on at a red-hot pace in that competition this year. Steele at the clearance, the sub, gave it to Wanganeen Millera, gives it to Windhager. Now 2 bounces for Wanganeen Millera. Nazaya runs through forward 50, kicks inside the arc and finds Hall. The dynamic, damaging Nazaya Wanganeen Millera showing all his wares, gains 70 metres and spots up Hall, who's got a 40-metre set shot from directly in front.
I was taken back to the mid to late 90s there, the way a crowd rises when a guy like Andrew McLeod got the ball.
Yeah.
It was as good as that, wasn't it, Cal?
Singing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Everyone just got on the edge of their seats as soon as they saw Naz with it.
Oh, I'll tell you, Robbie Hansen Jr. is not slow, and he made him look like he was running backwards, unfortunately.
And now it's Max Hall to finish off the work. 40 metres out to put the Saints back in front. Lets himself down. 2-point ball game. Roos ahead. 17 gone third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Joel Peterson and Quentin Hull with you. Cal Sinclair, Boomer Harvey, your experts, and Lauren Borden on the boundary.
So North 7, 6:48. St Kilda 6, 10, 46. Kangaroos to left half back, the kick from Hardiman, looking for Larky's turned over. Hall picks up for St Kilda, 55 out, kicks to full forward. Comben does well to spoil away from Sharman, but it's kicked out of the air for a St Kilda goal. That Boxall down there, who's kicked the goal. Yep, Boxall has socketed out of the air to kick the goal for St Kilda, and the Saints are back in front.
Toby Pink is saying he touched it, but
are we arcing?
No, I think he's conceded.
He has he? At the start, he sort of put his hands up, didn't he? But it does look like he's conceded right now.
Well, now we're getting the slow-mo. Toby Pink was close enough, and he had his hands near there. and Charlie Comben sort of clapped his hand and went to congratulate Toby Pink on preventing the goal. And we're back in the middle. I'm just loath to call that. Well, the umps are sort of looking around. And are we going to lock it away?
It's
I think
a goal.
we are. Yeah,
it's a goal.
Okay, 7-10, 52 to 7-6-48. Although everyone's still looking at screens and looking at each other.
You just don't have to get the light out.
I haven't written it down yet. I'm one of those sort of OCD kind of dudes with my scrapbooks too.
I'll put it in the book.
And they're still looking around. And now we're arcing.
We'll find out that we don't have a replay that can tell us anything, and what a shock that'll be.
I think Toby Pink touched his boot and not the ball. He touched his boot after ball had left said boot without touching ball. I'm starting to sound like a skit from Fawlty Towers.
Oh, I don't like this part of our game. I don't like it.
It's a goal. Okay, it's a goal. St Kilda in front, 7-10-52 to North 7-6-48.
It was good last week. Kiwi Boxall, the Saints, of course, traded up for him at the draft to select him. And he's proving dividends for their investment. They get the clearance here. Max Heath. Guess who? Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller kicks to half forward, and Comben charges out and takes the mark in front of the young West Australian in Boxall. Daniel around the body. Awkward kick for Sheasel. Made it work, though. Did really well, Harry Sheasel. Picked it up on the run. Flicked the handball over the top to Hanson Jr. Now infield to O'Sullivan. The spin move from McKercher as he got rid of the footy. Wasn't clean enough. Turned it over. Steele and McRae at halfback for the Saints. And now Sinclair dashes across the defensive 50. Flares it wide to Hill. He's got Higgins presenting up toward the city wing. Kicks it in that direction. And Jack juggles the mark and he's away.
Man on the mark fell over, so Higgins has a bounce towards half forward, 60 out. Right foot kick towards the goal mouth. Boxall at the back, through his fingers. Sheasel out the back to row for North, and plenty of time to run out of trouble. Hand passes to Hanson Jr., draws a man, hands it on to O'Sullivan. He's at D50, hands it back to Sheasel, who off a step now blazes a kick down the line. Poor kick, it pitches in front of Darling. Bounces around near him. Darling, he's got 3 against him. Tries to force a neutral and does well, the big veteran, on what was a pretty average kick towards him. And he's done well, Darling, to tackle Hasty and force the ball up, which is affected very quickly. Tika with the tap down. Powell roves, hands of Sullivan to Daniel. Now on to McKercher at half back. Kicks it across the centre square. Marked by Stevens, just forward of halfway. Holds it up for a moment. Now gets onto his left boot. Kicks it very, very wide. It rolls near the boundary, near attacking 50. And Hunter Clark is back there to mop up for the Saints.
He sorts it out. Comes wide. Driving kick off half-back from Caminiti, up the line toward Higgins. It's bashed away from him, falls into Saints' hands. Burns, Garcia, nurses the kick up the line. Good mark taken by Hardiman.
He's been good, Hardiman, today. That's 4 or 5 intercept marks, I reckon it's been. And kicks the ball well. Really good decision maker.
He's an aggressive player, the West Aussie, number 23 in the 2023 draft. Looks like North have found a long-term prospect down back. Here's Powell inside the defensive 50. Dangerous kick, looking for Pink. Jones got in there and knocked it away. Marshall knocked it back to Jones. Pick to Higgins. Top of the 50. Jack eyes the sticks and makes no mistake. You can't give him chances like that. And just like his first goal, it was a bit of craft from Jack Higgins and an instantaneous finish to put through his second. Saints out by 10 points, 8-10-58 to North Melbourne, 7-6-48. 22 gone, third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair.
This is the tale of the... This is how it goes. Dylan Stevens kicks the ball inside 50 and misses North Melbourne, I think it was Cooper, by 20 metres. Right? The ball transitions. Tom Powell takes a risk inside. Turnover, Higgins, goal. It's North Melbourne's story. That's exactly how they get scored against. Turnover, score, unfortunately.
Game at Cardinia Park's underway. Geelong 2-2-14, lead Port 2 behinds. You can hear it on the AFL button on the ABC Listen app, Cal.
And you just saw the outnumber that they had. They had about 3 or 4 guys they could just give a handball receive to. Lucky Jack Higgins got it. You trust him to finish, but pulled apart structural-wise there were the Kangas.
2 goals on the day for Jack Higgins. He's up to 41 for the year. Centre bounce. And Wardlaw dives in at the feet of the ruckman to lock it up. A secondary stoppage in the middle of the Dockland Stadium.
Just on that turnover battle, Boomer, 6 goals, 5 for the Saints from turnover today. North 3 goals, 4. North are giving up 70 points a game in their last 5 from turnover.
Free kick to the Saints, advantage taken. Garcia runs away. Marshall got taken high. Garcia's kicks over the head of Wanganeen-Miller. Pitches in the back pocket, picked up by Comben of North Melbourne. Hand pass to O'Sullivan. He'll kick from the left back pocket across the face of goal. Daniel was the target. He had to tap it boundary side. He was closed down. Roved though by the Saints. Windhager, beautiful kick from defence, from attacking 50, right near the boundary. He squared it up to Boxall, who marks right in front, but 45 metres out.
And this is a test for the Kangaroos here. Like, this is a part of their game where they can just fall apart a little bit, and the Saints now, they're starting to get a bit of rhythm on their ball movement. They're starting to be able to turn inboard, find these marks inside 50.
Signed a new contract extension during the week. Locked up at the Saints till at least 2028. Hugh Boxall, he's tugged that kick to the left though. And it's a minor score. St Kilda lead by 11 points at 8-11-59 to the Kangas 7-6-48. 24 minutes third term Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Kircher dashes in from fullback and then kicks a 9-iron. Very close to out of bounds on the fall. He said, Cam Zurhaar, catch that. There's absolutely no chance. It goes out for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, Hugh Boxall and Max Hall both re-signing during the week. Good news for Saints fans. Hall through to at least 27. Boxall the extra year.
How fine Max Hall's been this season for St Kilda. He's played every game. He's looked like a real prospect for the future. At the ruck contest, Teakle slaps it on for North Melbourne. Wardlaw goes in, can't take it cleanly. Here is Hall, got it from Steele for the Saints. Around the corner, little kick finds Marshall, just forward of the wing on the City side of the ground. Saints lead by 11 points, 25 gone in this third term. Marshall's kicked to the edge of the 50.
Oh, Combin's done his knee.
And Combin's gone down awkwardly behind play. Ball's out of play here, and Charlie Combin's writhing around in pain, and now just getting to his feet and
he's up and moving,
clutching down at that right leg.
Sorry, North fan. He literally had the prop and clutch immediately at the knee, and it didn't look good at all.
No, it didn't.
So many injury problems over the journey. It's tossed back in. Saints into attack.
Little grubbing kick from Garcia to the pocket on the deck. Whistle. Which way? St Kilda free
play on.
kick.
Play on. He's called play on.
Advantage was blown, and then Higgins didn't take the advantage. Free kick coming back for Big Heath.
What's the rule there? Because the umpire actually said advantage play on. He did it twice with his arm. And everyone stopped, so he stopped.
It's become such a grey area. The umpire used to call advantage, then the player was able to take advantage, and now we get this ridiculous sort of demilitarised zone where no one really knows the truth.
We should have had one on Friday night with Mitch Lewis soccering that goal for Hawthorn. He had a weird one at the MCG last night.
Well, the Cam Rayner one last night was a funny one. As Hall with his right boot, Heath with his right boot kicks the goal. Max Heath has got 2. And that's 3 in a row for St Kilda. The Saints 9-11-65 to North Melbourne's 7-6-48. Yeah, so that has become one of those areas in the game where we thought, the umpires empowered the players, and then the players now sort of look, I'll have 50 cents each way. I'll try for a bit, and if I don't like it, I'll stop and then go back for the set shot. And the weird one last night at the G, Cam Rayner, luckily enough, from right on the boundary, took an advantage and kicked the goal where, was it Huey McCluggage got a free kick? And really, McCluggage would have kicked the soda from 15 metres out.
You just feel that this off-season with Swan now at the helm of AFL House is going to be a bit of an overhaul in that department, but I'm not going to be too critical of umpires. I think they've copped a fair whack this year, but there's definitely some grey areas in the game at the moment, and I've seen Brent, roll his eyes a few times in the box today, so
don't give me up. Boom
Harvey and Kel Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport. Saints with the clearance here. They're dominating at the moment. Marshall pumps it inside the forward 50, and the mark not paid, or is it to Wood? It is eventually.
Pay that, Boomer.
He did hold it for a little bit. Yeah, I think I probably would pay that.
So Mason Wood is just gesturing.
Oh, actually, had the privilege of watching the replay on the scoreboard. I'm not too sure now.
And what he was pointing at there, I thought he might have been pointing at the scoreboard for a minute, and that might have got him in trouble. Mason Wood will have the set shot against his old mob. 40 metres out, directly in front. Short approach, skips in, couple of steps, left foot kick, and the Saints flags behind the goals go up straight away. The cheer squad knew it, and so did Mason Wood. He kicks his first, and the Saints are really rocketing away from North Melbourne now. That is 4 goals in a row in this term for the Saints, who've kicked 6 in the quarter, and they've got that breakout to a new game high of 23 points. 10-11-71 to North 7-6-48. 28 minutes gone in the third term.
Low scoring first term out at Cardinia Park. Geelong 2-4-16, lead Port 1-3-9. Call available on the ABC Listen app.
Well, I think that you'll be looking at the centre bounce here for the Kangaroos to make a response. Too many times this quarter, St Kilda have been able to come out the front of the stop. If you look at Luke Parker now as sweeper, very, very exposed the Kangaroos are right now at centre bounce.
North needs something. St Kilda getting a run on in the last 10 minutes or so. Centre bounce, and they get the clearance. It's booted forward by Davies Uniacke of North Melbourne beyond the pack and over the boundary line for a throw-in. Tim from Adelaide texts, we're the only sport in the world where the ump blows the whistle and then calls advantage. Every other sport watches to see if there's an advantage and then blows the whistle. If there's not, makes no sense. Thank you, Tim. 0437 774 774 to get in touch. Boundary throw-in, North Melbourne in attack. Zerha hits the pack hard, but tackled immediately. Another stoppage. 20 from North's goal.
Cal, I think you called it before. This is really critical for North Melbourne now because they've been in games up until half-time and sometimes halfway through the third quarter, and then we see big blowouts. We've just got to be a little bit careful here for North Melbourne.
Teakle taps down, LDU's on it, wrapped up immediately by McRae. Another stoppage.
Deep inside forward 50 for the Roos. Can they manufacture something? Marshall reaches across, controls it down with his left hand. Wardlaw burrows in against Hunter Clark. Two hard nuts. Chasing the footy. And they are drawn to a neutral. Another ball up, still 20 metres out. Teakle might have dragged Marshall down then. Marshall gave the handball away to Wangadeen Miller on the outside of the boot. Kicks out toward the boundary line. Burns wanted to go out. It bounced on the chalk, stayed in. Jack Higgins ended up with the footy. He was pushed across by Hansen. And it'll be thrown back in. Right half forward, Roos into attack. They trail by 23. We're half an hour into this third term on ABC Sport. 2.5
minutes of playing time before three-quarter time. Kangas need one. Parker roves the stoppage, wrapped up immediately by McRae. And we'll go again with a ball up on attacking 50, right half forward for North Melbourne.
9 goals in the term, Q, so a bit of time on.
McRae roves this time, hands to Sinclair. Give it to Garcia, dropped it under pressure there from Wardlaw. Couldn't pick up. Wardlaw comes in to tackle Clark. He got some help as well. It was Powell with him. Wraps him up. Clark's picked up by Jack Sinclair. So right half forward for North, tossed in the air, right on 50. Again, Teakle and Marshall having an awful tangle. North get the clearance. Hansen taken high. Was he? No, play on. Hands it to Parker, hands it to Daniel. They hand it across the attacking 50. Given to Powell. Kicks to the pocket. He's got a man in space. It's McKercher taking the mark, 40 from goal.
He's had a good game, hasn't he? He's coming up for his 26th disposal, kicked the goal.
Well, the contest needs this. I think we need this to keep a bit of bubble around Boomer, don't we, Brent?
Yes, been a little bit flat for the Kangas this quarter. Been outscored convincingly. It's a big kick for Colby. Give him some sort of chance to be in this game.
Among that raft of North Melbourne players that was picked up inside the top 5 in the draft. Colby McKercher, left foot, three-quarter time imminent. Important kick, kicks out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket.
Too close to man of the mark.
Oh dear. And Wilkie quickly kicks in to Nas Wanganeen Miller.
It's an extraordinary set shot.
Yeah.
For someone so revered for his foot skills, he missed the barn and it wasn't particularly close. Wanganeen Miller are coming up for disposal number 33.
Yeah, it's making me sick because he's going to have 40.
There's a bit of any danger about what he's doing this afternoon from a North Melbourne perspective. Just go and stand near him. McRae, handball to Windhager. You can get beaten, but don't get beaten by what you know. Wilkie inside the defensive 50. Spikes the Saints up the line. There's numbers everywhere. Wood pulls it in. Well judged in the end. He had bodies everywhere in front of him. He might have taken Huey Boxall with him then, and he pulled it in with one hand to his chest. Maybe a bit of a bobble as he went out of play, but he marks centre of the city wing. Dangerous kick. Windhager did enough to stand in front of Curtis and take the mark, like he was grabbing a rebound in his old basketball playing days. Now he comes back to Wilkie. Wilkie comes to the broadcast side of the ground, finds Clark right on halfway for the Saints.
Had a good day. He'll be up to 21 now, Hunter. Clark kicks towards the pocket, a one-on-one. Teakle spoils Marshall from behind and the Roos are at the rebound. Kicked forward by O'Sullivan. Marked on halfway by Larkey. Oh, and the time beats North. It was an open 50. It wasn't a moral goal. There was a saint or two back there. Wilkie, of course, well disciplined and positioned. But the hooter ends any late chance of another North Melbourne score, and St Kilda will go to the three-quarter time huddle with a 23-point lead, having kicked the last 4 goals of the game. And in that quarter, the Saints kicking 6 goals 5 to North Melbourne's 3 goals 4.
We actually had 4 lead changes in that quarter, and the margin's 23 points at three-quarter time.
Yep, Saints started in front, then North kicked 2 to get in front, then St Kilda kicked 1 to get back in front, then North kicked 1 to return to the lead, but then those last 4 all going to St Kilda. So 10 goal kickers for the Saints, or 10 goals. The goal kickers are Higgins 2, Heath 2, singles 4, Owens, Burns, Marshall, Wood, Boxall and Sharman. Further news on Mitch Owen, he's been subbed out with a hamstring injury, so Jack Steele's into the game. And the 7 for North Melbourne, 3 goals to Nick Larkey, and the singles are to Harry Sheasel, Luke Davies-Uniacke, Colby McKercher and Cam Zurha. So it's St Kilda by 23 at 10-11-71 to North's 7-6-48. Meanwhile, the score's just gone off the screen from the vision we're seeing at Cardinia Park. I'll give that score in a moment. The Cats taking on Port Adelaide. Oh, it's one of those moments where you're trying to do all the right things at three-quarter time, and they've decided to put replay after replay, and the score's gone off the screen.
I'll help you out. 3 goals 5, 23. Geelong to Port Adelaide 2-4, 16.
Callum Sinclair on fire, and they're still showing this replay over and over again. By the way, if you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. Yep, indeed, Carl. True and correct. 4 minutes left in that first term. It's Geelong leading by 7 points. You're listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Nocturnal Worlds. This podcast invites you into a world of relaxation and wonder. Search for the Nocturnal Worlds podcast on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Slight angle for Sharman. Nice kick. Puts his right finger to the roof as soon as he strikes it with his right boot.
Ball forward, Zurha! Marks, wheels around immediately and provides North Melbourne with an instant response.
So number 44 kicks the goal, number 45 is off, and number 46 comes on.
Okay, hang on. So you started in the forward line tagging and kicked 5.
I had a defensive tag on Jake Carlisle, and the good taggers, mates, hurt you?
They do,
and
absolutely.
I hurt Jake Carlisle that day.
Pinched by the Kangas. Nice kick to half forward, taken by Darling. 70 from goal, slots it to the leading Larkey. Game absence with that knee injury, and he's kicked the 3rd goal. Lauren, who's that sub?
It is Mitch Owens that's come out, and it's a hamstring injury for him. So he did limp across to the bench. He could barely walk straight down into the rooms, and the Saints have said it's a hamstring.
Kicks to full forward. Comben does well to spoil away from Sharman, but it's kicked out of the air for a St Kilda goal. That Boxall down there, who's kicked the goal. Yep, Boxall.
Got in there and knocked it away. Marshall knocked it back to Jones. Pick to Higgins. Top of the 50. Jack eyes the sticks and makes no mistake.
Lauren, who's that sub?
It is Mitch Owens that's come out, and it's a hamstring injury for him. So he did limp across to the bench. He could barely walk straight down into the rooms, and the Saints have said it's a hamstring.
40 metres out directly in front. Short approach, skips in, couple of steps, left foot kick, and the Saints flags behind the goals go up straight away. The cheer squad knew it, and so did Mason Wood.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
23 points the lead to St Kilda. It's three-quarter time at Docklands. Quentin Hull and Joel Peterson calling the action for you for Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Callum Sinclair and Brent Harvey in the experts' chair. Lauren Borden down by the boundary. St Kilda 10-11-71. North Melbourne 7-6-48. To come, Fremantle and Carlton from Perth Stadium. Those of you in the West will be heading to Clint Wheeldon and the team for that call when we wrap things up here. Of course, you can hear the Saints Port game, the Cats Port game out at Cardinia Park, where the news, if you missed it there, Connor Rosie's not playing. He was feeling a little off. So illness, and out of the team, Dylan Williams came in for Port. Hugh Jackson, the sub for the Power. Jack Martin, the sub for Geelong. And gorgeous conditions on this Sunday afternoon. Geelong and Port now locked at 3-5, 23 apiece. And we were going to set the scene at Perth Stadium, but our team can't get into the ground as yet. So we were complaining about sometimes it's a bit tricky to get in if you come early to Docklands. Well, apparently it's not an issue confined to the East Coast. What's going to happen in the last half an hour here? Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey.
Oh, I'm hoping that the Kangaroos can have a few more inside 50s. 27 inside 50s for the 3 quarters. Just 6 in the second quarter and 7 in the third quarter. Whereas the Saints, they went in 17 times in that second quarter and 15 times that quarter. So a little bit of work to do with their ball movement, North Melbourne, just to give the forwards an opportunity. It hasn't been a big score kicked by the Kangas, just 7 goals again. So St Kilda just looked like they had their mojo then, Cal. They got the ball inside forward 50 and gave their forwards an opportunity. I think you said 10 individual goal kickers before. Was that right for the...
No, I said 8. That and corrected myself.
8 individual goal kickers, and maybe Higgins doesn't have to kick that little bag for the Saints to win, but they're certainly giving their forwards every chance. So I would like North Melbourne to be a little bit more risky, a little bit more, I don't know the word that I'm trying to use, but just take some risk, get the ball inside 50 and give them an opportunity.
And you'd like to see them get the job done on Wanganeen Miller this quarter.
Just something.
Maybe if
any job done.
Just something.
Yeah, if you shut him down this quarter, who knows, it might go your way winning this game.
And if you're North, and you're a North fan, you just hope that they watched the last quarter that St Kilda played last week and maybe they can muster something similar. The Saints get the opening clearance outside the centre square and go inside forward 50 immediately, but the Roos take possession. Powell to Davies-Uniacke, back edge of the square, turns it over, kicking into the middle of the ground.
50 metres.
There is 50 metres there, so they all stopped. Marcus Windhager took a very casual mark, and Luke Davies-Uniacke has marched a good chunk of the field down towards centre half forward for North.
Yeah, he was very lucky, LDU, because he kicked that off one step and it went straight to the St Kilda player.
He chisels the kick into the pocket. Beautiful delivery to Darling. Did he have enough of that? Just.
I reckon the umpire's very generous on that mark.
The whistle was to the mouth before Jack Darling had pulled that one into the chest. And Darling can go back and kick on a 45-degree angle from about 45 metres out and try and bring North back within 3 goals.
Tell you what, it was a beautiful kick from LDU, just perfectly weighted into the forward pocket there, Darling.
550 in his career, Jack Darling. 1 goal, 1 last week. He knows how to kick them when his teams need them, and he just squeezes that one through. And maybe there's a pulse for North Melbourne. They move along to 8-6-54. The Saints 10-11-71. The margin 17 points. A minute into the last quarter. Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair on ABC Sport.
Cal, it's absolutely amazing when you put the ball to the forwards' advantage and let the tall forwards or any forward in general run onto the ball and let them do the work. So many times we bomb the ball. When I say we, the AFL, bomb the ball into forward 50, expect big hangers to kick goals. So that there is the perfect play. LDU, put the ball in the space. There's a pocket there. Forward does the work.
That's important as well. When LDU, you take your full 7 seconds because your forwards need to get to work as well, and then to get to position and try and open space up for themselves for, I guess, to get that ideal connection. But that was just a perfectly weighted kick. More of that from the Kangas going forward would be a massive result.
17 points the lead to St Kilda. Centre bounce. Teakle wins the tap over the top of Marshall. Bounce evades Davies-Uniacke, picked up by Steele. Hands it back to Marshall, tackled, got it to his boot. Toe pokes it, still in the bullseye, and the ump will come in to toss it in the air. So no real clearance there. Steele, who was the sub today, applying a tackle on Wardlaw to keep it locked in. Teakle and Marshall lock horns. Marshall with the hand down, but Wardlaw rose for North Melbourne. Hand passes on to Powell, runs the edge of the centre square, aided by Shepherd, ran a long way, eventually got his kick away to a 2-on-2. Zaha claims it, 2 bites, mark, yes, yes. Oh, there were a few hands in the air for the first touch. Zaha got the controlling second touch and the ump said, yeah, that's good enough. Cam Zaha given the mark. Man on the mark, 35 from goal, 45 degrees to the right.
He probably needs a big quarter, 6 touches today. Hasn't had the biggest impact, Boomer.
No.
It's probably what, I guess, we're paying him at the Kangas.
He's hit the scoreboard, though, a couple of times, hasn't he? Or just the once?
He's kicked the 1 goal 2 on his right boot. Cam Zaha. Got it! No. Boundary. The goal ump took a moment before slapping his pec. That was a very sort of delayed response from the goal ump. I was waiting for the slap of the peck, Joel. It came late.
A bit of theatre, Q.
Yeah, 16 points the lead to the Saints.
Theatre from the goal umpires. Why not? We like the work of the boundary umpires today, so we may as well give the goal umpires some love. Sinclair drives it in from full back, and Teakle comes down with a big Bryn. Lands with a thud and the footy in his hand. He's a little bit sore as he punches over, one foot in front of the other. He's going to pump North Melbourne back inside forward 50. Can they find a fight? Taroom!
Wow.
Isn't that a glimpse into the future of what this man will do for the Saints?
That had a bit of Leo Barry about it.
That was a beautiful mark.
He takes to the sky, crashes into the pack, and pulls in a powerful defensive mark. The young rookie out of Warragul, he's got so much ahead of him. Kicks down the line, and Wood floats in, takes the mark for the Saints as they build something from defensive side of halfway.
I'll give a random Lewis Roberts-Thompson mention there. If you're mentioning Leo Barry, he's got the LRT blonde about him, hasn't he?
Does.
Ball to half forward. Rowan Marshall takes the mark for St Kilda. Conservative kick infield to Windhager. Important entry coming up for the Saints here. They hold a 16-point lead. Chip to Windhager. Chip to the edge of the centre square for Wood. Now the left foot kick to the corridor. Leading. Oh, somehow Higgins is trying to claim the mark. He had two against him. But it's been pinched out of his hands by Curtis. Mark to North. He chips it to right half back. So Harmark's in space and holds it up a little bit. Oh, that's a very short kick. Was it the required? Yeah.
Paid it. Looks like Garcia's going really heavy tag on Sheasel. St Kilda obviously identified that if North Melbourne are going to win, Sheasel's probably going to have a big quarter, and he's been chasing him around for the last 4 or 5 minutes.
McKercher to O'Sullivan to Teakle. Chip mark. Teakle just forward of centre half back. Kicks North to Larky at half forward. Climbing from behind. Caminiti fists down. Roved by Stevens of the Kangas though. Hand pass out the back. Provided to Comben from the wing, kicks to half forward. On the deck, Wood first to meet it, couldn't take the mark for the Saints. He gets a hand pass though from Sinclair on hands and knees and kill the ball. Rush clearance from Clark.
Clark up the line, and Teakle floats in and takes another good mark. Logue was able to shepherd Marshall out of it, provide a bit of support. Teakle from right on halfway for North Melbourne, kicks it off the instep, dribbles it up toward half forward. Constanti was good enough to pick it up. He gave it to Daniel, whose kick was smothered, and then Constanti smothered the kick of Windhager. Left half forward, now they dive on top of Constanti. Steele came over the top too high. Free kick going to the Roos, small forward. Jacob to the Stancy, who's played every game this season for North Melbourne. Comes back to Logue, who can still find a way to kick backwards from half forward. And kicks to Pink, just got it there. It was a nervous moment for the Roos fans in the building. Pink offloads to McKercher, who sizzles the kick inside the forward 50. Nice bit of delivery to Wardlaw. 45 out directly in front. And George can go back and make it a 10-point game.
Well, it's not pretty, Boomer, but at least there's a bit more composure and thought going into their inside 50 compared to what they were in the first half. Probably a little bit lucky at times, but a couple of good decisions and a bit of progress.
Those in blue and white love seeing this man in the team. George Wardlaw, 45-metre set, shot, kick, lets it go. It is there. So much to like about what he brings to North Melbourne. And he brings them a goal closer and within two kicks. 9-7-61 to the Saints, 10-11-71. 7 minutes gone, final term, and we could be set for another fourth quarter comeback.
Quarter time at Cardinia Park. Geelong and Port all locked up at 3-5-23.
Looks like a good game over there, as this one is shaping up to be, because that was a methodical build-up, Cal. You're right. I thought Costanti probably could have went straight in when he had the ball 60 out, but he gave it sideways again. Toby Pink got the ball and put it into McKercher's hands, who's had an outstanding game today, and he just had the composure to drop his eyes. This is what I've been asking for the whole game. Drop your eyes. St Kilda normally play back shoulder, and they don't want to get beaten out the back, so drop your eyes, come forward.
10 points the lead to St Kilda. First 2 goals of the final term to North, and Sheasel gets the clearance from the centre bounce. Chips to half forward, rolls on the deck. Met by Harvey, couldn't pick it up. Ricochet falls into North hands though. Constanti with the hand pass back to Harvey. Chips it backwards and finds a teammate. Dersma marks just forward of the wing. Dersma takes a moment. Conservative kick to McKercher. Unmarked near the boundary. Still a long way from home. 2 kicks from home for McKercher. No one standing the mark. Rolls on. Beautiful delivery to the chest of Big Suva. Larky marks and he gets a bit of attention afterwards. So Powell comes in flying the flag for a moment or two. Nick Larky is a bit slow to get up, but he's presented, he's marked, and will now, maybe not have the shot on goal. He's getting up limping, and he's limping towards the bench.
Same leg that he'd hurt. Of course, he had the PCL injury on that right knee, and
it's heavily strapped. His first game back, having missed 3 games with it, Joel. And we'll get to Lauren in a moment, but he will not be able to take the kick on goal, so Finn O'Sullivan's going to have the shot. Loz, down to you.
Larky's just limping right beside me, so he can barely put weight on that right leg. He's got a doctor coming in as well, so a doctor and a physio either side of him. He looks like he might want to go straight down to the rooms. He'll just take a breather for now.
Okay.
But he's looking sore.
So Darling comes on, and O'Sullivan is given the ball. Man on the mark's 45 from goal. So Larky's done the hard work to earn the kick. Can O'Sullivan make the most of it? Gives it everything with his right boot. It won't have the journey. Comes down on the goal line, knuckled through for a point. And St Kilda now, with only a single-figure margin, 9 the lead to the Saints at 10-11-71 to 9-8-62.
These are the little things. Finn O'Sullivan needs to know how far he can kick that ball. Again, Cal, ball lands 2 metres out, punch straight through. St Kilda get access to the football again.
1 goal, 2 on the season for Finn O'Sullivan, the second pick at last year's draft. Taru got bumped as he was going back to take his kick after he marked the kick in, turns around to the umpire and says, any danger? The umpire said, well, the North player was following a Saints player through the mark, so it was okay. Here's McRae, the birthday boy, comes out wide to Caminiti for the Saints. St Kilda by 9 points, North with the only 2 goals of this final term so far. They've both come off turnover. An encouraging sign for the way the Roos are trying to fashion some scoring. Stocker's got it on halfway. He flings it across the centre square. The kick swung to Wilkie and now out to Hill at left half forward. St Kilda moving the footy with some method and some purpose. Hill comes to Burns. He's 70 metres from home. Rolls onto his right boot. Marshall's the target. He got a shove from Darling. Nudged him under the footy and did it well. Darling takes the mark deep in defence for North.
And there's more than one Kanga limping down there. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Nick Larky's just gone down into the room, so he was just hobbling a little bit, and he's finally gone to the rooms, trying to get up to a trot, probably running about 60%, but in the rooms.
And while you were looking at him, I saw George Wardlaw limping a little as well, so keep an eye on him. Ball moved to the wing. Steele applies a tackle to ensure that Powell's locked up and will have a bounce or a ball up. Ball up on the wing. I haven't bounced it for years, but still, having grown up in that era, sometimes the brain goes there.
Do you reckon they should get rid of the bounce?
Oh...
Sorry, wrong time to ask the question. We might be in for a longer answer than I bargained.
Yeah, underneath the pack, another stoppage. No, just get someone to get it right. And
the problem is, you get one person to get it right. You can't do 8 games.
Yeah, that one's thrown up on the wing. Whistle. Free kick going to who? It's going to Jack McRae. I think he was held momentarily. So the free kick for the Saints. Important forward foray coming up for them. 2-2 to nothing for North Melbourne so far in this quarter. St Kilda's 23.3 quarter time leads now down to 9.
Yeah, they've stopped the Saints. McRae kicks to the edge of the 50 and the Roos in combination. Now Darling and Comben, who clutches at his knee as he goes to ground. So they are the walking wounded. Loz downstairs.
George Wardlaw's running back on, so he looks okay at the moment. Had a little laugh with Colby McKercher, but he looks all right, Wardlaw.
Good news. Ball to be tossed back in, right half forward. Saints into attack, having not scored so far in this term. Joel Peterson, Quentin Hull calling the footy for you. Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts. And Lauren Borden on the boundary from the stoppage. Windhager, low kick inside the forward 50. Garcia attacks it at pace, runs to the pocket, gives it to Higgins, gives it to Hall. The diving smother from Luke Parker. That's what you bring him to the club for. He lunges across the footy with desperation and intent inside the defensive 50. Forces the stoppage, throw in deep forward for the Saints.
Nothing like a big 1%er when there's a single figure margin in the final quarter. Great work from Luke Parker. Boundary throwing, St Kilda in attack, but Powell gets the hand pass to Parker. He kicks across the face of goal. Good kick. Pink marks at full back, chips it to the right back pocket. Stevens there in space to mark for North. And he's taking a moment or two. An important exit coming up here for the Kangas. Stevens chips over the man on the mark. Around the boundary to Davies Uniac. They've got it beyond defensive 50, North Melbourne. Only 4.5 wins for the year, the Kangas. Their last win back in round 15 against the Blues. Long kick from Davies Uniacke to a pack on the wing. Off hands. Wardlaw does the roving for the Kangas. His kick is semi-smothered. Off hands and out of play for a throw-in on the outer side. St Kilda 10-11, 71. North Melbourne 9-8, 62. The Saints by 9 points. Almost 14 minutes played. Final term under the roof on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
If the Roos are to do it, they might have to do it without Nick Larkey, their most lively target up forward at the stoppage. Stevens gives it to Davies Uniacke for North Melbourne. Handball defensively to Daniel, to Davies Uniacke in close confines to Stevens. Got the handball away as he was tackled. Then Davies Uniacke gave it to Darling. Bounces the kick to half forward. Hanson Jr. is there. Hands off to Parker. Drives it to full forward. Curtis out the back. Stocker right there with him. Slapped toward the boundary line by Zurhaar. Curtis throws a boot at it. He got it to Zurhaar. Grabs it on the behind line. Kick was smothered as he tried to fling it toward goal. Desperate defence from the Saints. Trying to toe poke it through his Harvey, but he did so over the goal line. Minor score for North Melbourne. They're doing it in small increments at the moment. The margin is 8 points the way of the Saints. Let's go downstairs to Loz.
Could be good news for North fans. Nick Larkey is back on the bike. So he's come up from the rooms, he's on the bike. So it looks like he'll be trying to get out there in the last half of this final quarter.
Wilkie from full back. A long kick for St Kilda towards the wing. Teakle presents, can't take the mark. Ball on the deck close to the boundary line. Powell can't pick up for North. He's hassled over by McRae for a boundary throw-in.
Just that last inside 50 for North Melbourne. When they had it on the outside, they had a couple of North Melbourne players leading up at the ball carrier. It was a rush kick to the top of the goal square.
One thing we need to watch is Luke Parker in this last 15 minutes of footy. Watch him just directing the team, educating them on how to win the game.
Ball thrown in. Darling out muscles Marshall. Clean possession. Rush kick to half forward for North. Off hands of the pack. Important ball. Windhager there for St Kilda. Looping hand pass to Burns at right half back. Hands it to Hill, who's got some space to run the dockside wing. Kicks to half forward. Wood the target. Nudged under it by the opposite 32. Red hair, pink by name, orange boots. Toby with the mark, kicks backwards to Daniel. Short pass to Sheasel, who's still at left half back. There was a little bit of triangle work that didn't go anywhere, but if anything, allowed North to compose themselves for this next move forward.
Still trying to triangulate their way up the field.
There's not a lot of movement, though. There's not a lot of movement. They've got to get this ball.
He can't play like that.
This will go to a contact. Oh,
Comben plays on. Stop, start. Hill almost froze. It's like in a video game when the controller battery goes low. Long kick up the line. Teakle and Caminiti can't keep it in. It rolls out of play to be tossed back in.
Crucial time of the game and the button sticks. Don't you hate that?
Yep. 100%. Left half forward here for North. Joel Peterson, Quentin Hull calling the footy for you on ABC Sport. Boomer Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Daniel at the stoppage, dispossessed, allowed to get away with it. McKercher, high kick around the body. Sinclair flies for the mark for St Kilda. Can't take it. Clark picks it up. Been really good today. Handball off to Hill. Hill kicks along the boundary line. And Comben had Big Max Heath in a headlock. You can't do that, Charlie. And the big Moose is paid the free kick just attacking side of the wing. He can send the Saints into attack. They lead by 8, 17 gone, final term. They haven't scored in this last term, St Kilda.
Heath with his right boot kicks inside 50, but all North Melbourne at the drop. Griffin Logue takes a relatively uncontested mark at the front of that pack. Transfers across the face of goal. Stevens takes the grab. Very short pass to Zurhaar, a long way from home. North Melbourne's kicked 2-3 to the Saints, nothing in this last quarter. 8 points the lead to the Saints. Zurhaar has kicked the ball out on the full.
Not sure how many times they've done that today, North Melbourne. I reckon that's 4 times they've kicked on the full.
So Burns chips in field for the Saints. Wilkie marks, kicks it short to Clark, but there's not the same fizz around St Kilda. Slow ball movement here. Clark with the short pass to Hall. Max Hall in the corridor, kick and a half from goal. Slots the ball to the pocket. Beautiful kick. And Mason Wood's hands are true. He takes the mark. 35 out. Right forward pocket.
How many goals in the last quarter last week, the Saints?
9. None yet today. Mason Wood has already got one against his old team. He's setting up for the left-footed snap punt from quite the distance, about 40 metres out. So some of these, and there's no one really on the goal line. Wood, oh, he's mishit it. Wrong side of the ball. It's a Mung to the top of the goal mouth. Almost a mark to Big Heath. Did he get taken high? No. Underneath it's locked up. Ball up. Vauxhall there with Daniel. Neither could get the ball free.
Not exactly as Mason Wood drew it up. Deep forward for the Saints here. Haven't scored in the last term. North have got 2 goals. They've narrowed the gap to 8. McKercher pounds it outside the defensive 50. Darling throws a boot at it. Constanti in over the top. St Kilda take possession back. Hall to Marshall. Flick the handball out at the last moment to Hill. Hill had his kick run down by Zerha. Chases onto the wing broadcast side. Zerha had a hold of Sinclair. That'll be a free.
Got to hold your composure there in those one-on-ones. Just got to keep your feet. You don't have to panic just like that.
Jack Sinclair will take it right on halfway for the Saints. 10-11 St Kilda. North Melbourne 9-9. We've almost played 20 minutes in this final term. Charlie Comben, like he was climbing his neighbour's fence to retrieve a footy in the backyard, came over the top of the pack. Wood stood in front of it all and takes the mark. That was bizarre. Max Heath thought he was getting a free kick. Mason Wood's got it 54 metres out at right half forward. Wood rolls onto his left boot, sends it long. Here comes Wanganeen Miller. Not this time. Pink got a hand to it. Stevens in the back pocket for North. Kick was run down by Garcia. Good forward pressure from the Saints. And they'll have a stoppage deep inside forward 50. Up by 8, time on in the last.
This will be a good test for the Kangaroos here. A couple of repeat stoppages that'll happen here if the St Kilda. The pressure will build, and can they absorb it and not let it go?
31,978. That's actually a really good turnout considering where these two teams are placed. And they're seeing a tight contest. Throw in, forward pocket for St Kilda. Heath taps down to Wanganeen Miller. Tackled immediately by Parker. He knows a thing or two about tight footy games. Ball ricochets out of play. You were talking about Luke Parker. Where was he at the stoppage? On the most likely and dangerous Saint. He's
Ben O'Sullivan's got him now, though. He's been sort of running with him for this quarter.
Yeah.
What's he had in the last quarter?
Wanganeen Miller, 1 touch.
Yep.
There's 6 minutes to go. St Kilda lead by 8 points. Throw in with the Saints in attack, but Wardlaw roves. He's tackled over the boundary line by McRae, and it's rumbled out to the 50 arc.
And the one thing about Luke Parker, he will not be as fast or as skillful as Miller, but one thing, he's tough and he's absolutely ruthless. So
Naz's first touch, he got the first touch of the quarter.
Yep.
It was a centre bounce off the ground, so he hasn't touched it since.
Yep, he has still had 34 on the game. Limited influence, and their numbers are pretty astonishing.
Just harsh.
We'll get another stoppage. 34, 8 clearances, 5 of those at centre bounce, 7 inside 50s, 8 score involvements and 535 metres gained. So it's been a handy afternoon, but just the one touch here in this last term, and finally North have decided to try and curtail his influence.
Surprising what happens when you put a little bit of time and effort into certain plays, isn't it?
Yeah, it is funny that, Boomer. Ball tossed up inside forward 50 for the Saints. Heath rushes across to the contest, fighting for it is Boxall. Hands and knees stuff for the West Australian. Coming clean through the contest now is Stevens. Oh, he missed his boot, and then he picked it up anyway and handballed it on. That was bizarre. He's on the end of the chain here, Dylan Stevens. Sends it up the wing. Darling in front. Taru comes across and spoils it away. Wardlaw scoops it up. Kicks inside the 50. Hanson Jr. upstairs. Can't mark. Caminiti, the rove inside defensive 50 for the Saints. Hands it off to Hill.
Important kick to the city wing. Marshall's there.
Beautiful Marshall. Just use of his body. It was all timing too. Jack Darling strong, as we mentioned earlier in the coverage, but he just timed that to perfection.
Marshall kicks it 30 metres backwards to the pocket for Wilkie, who has a bounce through the vacant full-back region for St Kilda. Chips a short pass to Caminiti. This is the opposite of what St Kilda was doing this time last week. They were rolling the dice and doing everything to win. Now they're playing conservatively to try and hold on to an 8-point lead. Next kicks a chip to Jones, right half back. Chip infield to Wilkie, still right half back. Chip across the half back line to Hill. He's got space to run the corridor now. Has a bounce, cruises to the bullseye, puts his right boot to it. It kicks wide to the half forward flank. Oh, again Marshall outmarks Darling. 2 big grabs in the last minute for Marshall. He's 60 out. Kicks to the pocket through the fingers of Wanganeen Miller. That was too big for him. Pink rose for the Kangas. Hands it off to O'Sullivan, and they work that back pocket. Little left foot kick there. Harvey receives and marks importantly from the slicing ball of McKercher. He plays on with a chip to half back. Daniel marks. Chips to Wardlaw. Plays on with a hand pass inboard. Oh, Cooper had a look. He dropped it, young Harvey. Turnover. Saints ball in the middle with Hunter Clark.
Clark kicks inside the 50, looking for Heath. who had the reach on Pink, stood his ground, takes the mark, 40 out, slight angle left of centre, and a crucial kick coming up for the Saints.
Just crucial, Cooper there. When it just that ball looked like it was going, Larky was resetting. He would have hit back up, would have hit it up, and would have been a nice little goal for the Kangas. I reckon Larky would have finished it, but unfortunately, the transition goals happens for the Kangas.
And it would be the old-fashioned 2-goal swing. Max Heath, Saints up by 8 before the kick. 24 minutes gone. Haven't scored in the quarter so far. The big fella looking for his third. Can he steer it home? No. Very much still alive. Saints came back from 9 goals down last week. They're 9 points up this week. Couple of minutes to play. Sunday footy on ABC Sport going right down to the wire once more.
And it's an 8-point lead to Geelong at Cardinia Park, mid-second term. Cats 5-7-37, Port 4-5-29.
Going to take the game on.
Here we go.
So Harvey marks at half-back and chips to the middle of the ground for O'Sullivan. He's just, midway between centre half-back and the bullseye. They're not taking it on here. They're moving it precisely. Lateral kick to Powell. Powell's chip to the bullseye mark by Davies-Uniacke. So it's worked to here, and this one works as well. Short chip to Daniel, 60 out. Here's the inboarder. Inside 50. Zerha presents to grabber. Mark paid. 35 out directly in front. And that's a nervous hum of the predominant red, black and white under the roof at Docklands. They came here anticipating another joyous Sunday. They went to three-quarter time with a 23-point lead, the Saints, but if Zerha kicks truly, it's 3 points the difference. Zerha delivers. Pumps his fist as soon as he hits it. North has kicked 3 goals, 3 to St Kilda's 1 point in this last quarter. There's 97 seconds left. St Kilda 10-12, 72. North Melbourne 10-9, 69.
I'll tell you what, Brimmer, they've addressed parts of their game in the last, call it 30, 40 minutes of footy. Put someone on Wanganeen Miller. His influence this quarter has been minimal for the first 3, but more importantly, their composure going inside 50 has been a massive contrast compared to what they did, what they dished up in that first half. Like they're feeling more comfortable to go lateral. And the forwards are getting more of a chance to do 2 or 3 repeat leads, because I think they were hoping for that first lead and then they would turn over. They're waiting a little bit now, going, no, give them 2 or 3 chances to find something. I watched Zerha there. He had about 2 or 3 efforts. Eventually, the defence will break down and you'll find something.
What a difference a week makes. This time last week, it was the Saints making all the running. And this week they're on the back foot. Clearance through Parker to Daniel. Defensive hand pass to Sheasel. They go all the way to half back to send it forward. Cooper Harvey blasted inside the 50. Larky front spot. Caminiti the spoil. Dersman the knock on. Falls into the lap of Darling. Handball over the top. Stevens into the open goal. Can't quite make it work. Curtis tries to go off the ground. Goal square stuff for the Saints defensively. And they scramble it out of there some way.
It's deliberate.
Somehow.
Has to be.
Sharman's kick out wide. Bounces out of play. Hits a
You paid the first one in the first quarter, so
North Melbourne free kick to Sheasel at left half forward. Minute to go. They're down by 3.
Sheasel with a deep entry to a big packet forward. Darling flies. Nice fist away by Sharman. Punch it over the barrel.
And I can say that was not me.
That was Cal Sinclair getting excited.
Sorry.
There was a
No, that's okay.
Make you laugh.
There's less than a kick in it. You haven't got a pulse if you're not getting up for this. 3 points the lead to St Kilda. North in attack. Big boundary throw in here. Marshall taps down to Wanganeen Miller. Hands to Boxall. Hands to Garcia. Chips St Kilda out of immediate danger. Windhager takes the mark at right half back.
How's your teeth, Cooper?
Windhager takes the mark at right half back and is going to take a moment to compose himself. Saints hanging on by 3 points here. There's 32 seconds left.
Windhager kicks down the line to a pack. Heath can't mark. Taken out the back by Hardiman to Powell. Aggressive kick toward the middle of the ground. Hill can't mark. Darling was a chance. Curtis is there. Steele for the Saints. Handball to Hill. Handball to Steele and Sinclair. And now Wanganeen Miller fashions a kick on the bounce to Boxall. On halfway, they need to control it here, St Kilda. Time winding down. Kick down the line from Sinclair. Bounces its way to Hall. Kicks inside the 50. Got a push. Max Hall got a push. Siren has sounded. And it'll be 50 metres as well. And Max Hall will be walked to the goal line. The Saints song is playing before the final act has been played out. Because Max Hall will kick a goal from the top of the goal square and will make it a 9-point St Kilda win at the end. He waltzes in. Last week it was heavenly for the Saints. In the last term they put their supporters through hell this week, but they get the job done nonetheless. Hall kicks the goal to give St Kilda a 9-point win after their triumph last week in extraordinary circumstances. Actually didn't kick a goal in the time that the last quarter was played. They kicked one behind, and Max Hall's goal came after the siren. It was the only one they got. North Melbourne kicked 3 in the last term after the Saints led by 23 with a quarter to go. This week, they did the hanging on, and they win by 9 points, their 7th of the campaign.
Well, that was a pretty entertaining day at the footy, if you haven't got skin in the game. Two teams with pride to play for at the back end of the season, and they showed it. There was a real go from both teams today, as much as North Melbourne supporters are going to go home disappointed. They had a real charge in the last term, but have just fallen short. St Kilda 11 goals, 12, 78 to North Melbourne's 10, 9, 69. So the Saints 2 wins in a row. They're up to 7 wins for the season, and they've got a couple of winnable games in the next fortnight as well. Richmond at the MCG next week, and then Essendon here the week after. They finish off against the Giants in Sydney. While for the Kangas, well, they're still stuck on those 4 wins in the draw. They go to Monica to play the Giants next week. We'll go to Hobart to play Richmond and finish with Adelaide here. So the Saints 7 wins and 13 losses. North now 4 wins, a draw and 15 losses. The scoring progression looked like this. North Melbourne led by 14 points at quarter time. St Kilda kicked 3 goals to 1 in the second term, led by a point at half time. And then St Kilda, the move was sort of the back end of the third quarter where they kicked 4 goals in a row to get out to that 23-point lead at the final change. North with the first 3 goals of the last quarter, but just ran out of time with a killer blow, and then Max Hall after the siren gets St Kilda's only goal of the term. 11-12, 78 to 10-9, 69. St Kilda just too good. Jack Higgins kicked 2 goals. Max Heath kicked 2 goals and a range of singles. Mitch Owens, before he was subbed out with a hamstring injury, he kicked a goal. Ryan Burns, Rowan Marshall, Mason Wood, Hugh Boxall, Max Hall and Cooper Sharman also kicked goals for St Kilda. Nick Larkey kicked 3 goals on return from a knee injury. It looked like he re-injured it a little bit. Did finish the game on the ground though, but 3 goals for Larkey, 2 goals for Cameron Zaha. Singles for Harry Sheasel, George Wardlaw, Luke Davies-Uniacke, Colby McKercher and Jack Darling. Well, those with skin in the game, some are always going to leave happy, some are always going to leave disappointed. But for the neutral eye, when you get bottom 5 teams this end of the season, you sort of think, oh, we might get a really good scrap or we might get a dud. We got the former. We got a good scrap, didn't we, Cal?
It'd be good to comment if my mic was on.
Yeah, you've switched off early.
Yeah, correct. No, we did get a good scrap. I think we were a bit worried, particularly in the first half of that game. I think each team I thought both teams got better as the game went on. I made a comment about the Kangaroos and their particular ball movement improvement in the second half, but not to be too critical of the Kangas, because I actually thought they showed some good progression what they did last week. I just wonder, had they have gone in with a united plan to attack the best player from St Kilda, arguably the best player in the game at the moment, and you know the form that he's in, I just wonder, could that have got them over the line? And I reckon it would have. And I honestly reckon it would have, because it wasn't much really other than Wanganeen Milera that got them in that first 3 quarters.
So just for the listeners, 36 touches, 3 in the last quarter, 33 in 3 quarters. We spoke about this at the start of the game. Was there a plan to go in and attack him physically? Make him earn his possessions? No, let's just play him on a stoppage and let him run wherever he wants to. 33 possessions in 3 quarters. He was the difference.
Correct.
He was the difference, clearly.
I think your review is pretty simple on Monday morning when you go through it for the Kangas. But, look, they gave themselves a shot. But, I thought there were some good signs there from St Kilda. I thought Max Heath, he could have kicked the bag today. Yep. I think we questioned who would kind of get on the goals for them today. But overall, it was a good game. I got a little bit jumpy towards the end.
What were you jumpy at? Someone nearly take a hanger?
Yeah, I was trying to manifest something, what I mean? But it almost worked. But look, I think that there's a bit to like about St Kilda. But not to harp on about it, but I think beyond this year, I think there's a few interesting decisions that club's going to make.
And this is tough, but I say this as the father of a 16-year-old lad, so I know what you like here, Boomer. I just want to. I'd love to know what Cooper's like and the relationship when you two talk about footy, because North was slingshotting, they had the momentum, and your young fella just had the little fumble. So how are you feeling about it? How's the young? Because he knows, no doubt, and that was one of the crucial moments late. So let's go into Team Harvey. How does that play out?
Yeah, so today, to a really quick review, he played 3 quarters forward, kicked the point, and in the last quarter, he's actually got really good ball use, makes some good decisions, and they want the ball in his hands. So had the opportunity, went to half back in the last quarter. I think he might have had 4 or 5 touches. There was just that one crucial moment where he got a 1-2 and just left the ball behind St Kilda go down, have a shot on goal. Luckily, didn't kick it, but he'll critique that. He takes that sort of stuff pretty hard. So we'll have a chat, and we'll just have a chat, make sure that he's okay from Dad. And he'll say how disappointed he is, and he missed an opportunity there. But he'll talk about 4 or 5 other missed opportunities that he didn't get as well. So,
how are you going watching him?
It's no good. It's terrible. When I played, I felt like I was in control. If I wanted something to happen or needed something to happen, I could run and go and do it. When you're up here, you're looking at him going, probably like every other dad, going, what are you doing, mate? Just run. Just go for the mark. What are you on the ground for? So there's all just little things, and it's Dad. Yeah. That's how it is.
And we appreciate you answering that question, because there was that moment there, wasn't it? And he was at the heart of it, just as the Kangas were coming. We are going to be taking you to Perth Stadium shortly for Fremantle and Carlton, but we will get a little bit of reaction from the rooms. Lauren Borden is down where the Saints are going to sing the song for a second week in a row under the roof on this Sunday.
Thanks, Q. Yeah, a little bit of a different vibe, isn't it, when they came from behind last week and they managed to hold on to this win. Heath was just in the middle there, getting the shower as they get ready to sing.
Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be a St Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be a St Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
So there you go, Cal Wilkie leading the song as per usual. A few babies in as well, but a pretty happy Saints room.
Well, stay close, Lauren. We've got about a dozen minutes before we will take you out west. St Kilda, 11 goals, 12-78. North Melbourne, 10-9-69. The Saints winning by 9 points, getting close to half-time at Cardinia Park, by the way. Geelong's had a good second term there. The Cats, 7-11-53 to Port Adelaide's 4-5-29. That was after scores were locked up at quarter time. Geelong, 7-11-53. Port, 4-5-29. If you want to hear that game, you can do so on the ABC Listen app.
Late game tonight, no late changes. So the Blues and Freo, Neil Erasmus, the sub for the Dockers, Corey Durden for the Blues.
Okay. Righto, Callum. And Brant, a few other thoughts. And there was always going to be a lot of focus on Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera today, but I think it's worth revisiting. Sorry, just don't revisit there, because I'm going to revisit Lauren in the room. She's very quick at hand to bring us some reaction from the St Kilda victorious rooms.
Thanks, Q. It is nice to be down here with Max Hall. We've been singing your praises all year, really, since you've come out of the Box Hill Hawks and really had a great start to your time in St Kilda colours. But just take me to the game today. Bit of a different last quarter to last week, but you're really liking the close ones at the moment, the Saints.
Yeah, we feel like we've been building over the last sort of 6 weeks. It's been nice to get some footy together. North, credit to them today, they were unbelievable. So it was nice to get the 4 points at the end of the day.
And how do you manage the last quarter in this situation where you've got North coming back at you, and as opposed to last week when you were the ones making the comeback?
Yeah, I think it's just not panicking, getting back to the basics. We train all pre-season for these moments, so just knuckling down on what we do best.
On the week leading into this match, obviously it would have been pretty nice coming into the club after the biggest comeback in VFL, AFL history. Did you have people stopping you in the street and just wanting to chat about the game?
Yeah, the fans have been awesome. It was just as good for them as it was for us to win on the weekend. I guess really show them where we're headed. So, yeah, we had lots of fans at training, and the environment last week's been awesome.
I'm sure there's some more questions coming from upstairs. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, our experts on ABC Sport.
Max, congratulations on the winners. Brent Harvey up here, mate. Tell us about, and I don't want to harp on last week because I know you guys need to move forward not only this week but last week. Did it take the sting out of the fresh legs? Because today, I know there was a goal kicked very, very late. Oh, you kicked the goal very, very late in the last quarter. Did you just come in, were you flat at the start, or you just put that behind you, training was as normal, and you just got moving again?
No, I think everything was pretty normal. It was a pretty normal week. I think credit to North. I thought they were awesome today, and they really tested us, and I guess we were lucky enough just to get over the line in the end and get the 4 points.
Cal Sinclair here. Got a question for you, just on bigger picture stuff. You've got a bit of noise around your football club at the moment with, I guess, Wanganeen Miller potentially making a decision at the end of the year, the Tom De Koning situation, whether or not how that leaves Rowan Marshall. But from a playing group perspective, are you kind of getting stuck into the boys, making light-hearted jokes about it, or is it a kind of something that we're, I guess the question is kind of, how's the playing group kind of handling it, considering there might be some changes to personnel in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, I think, I guess everyone sees it, but at the end of the day, we're really building for the next few years, and I feel like we've got a really good group at the moment, and we're just focusing on these last sort of 3-4 weeks and make sure we set ourselves up well for next year.
And Max, it's Quentin Hull here. I think that the bounce off that is that this week you've committed your future, so you must be pretty happy with how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely stoked. I mean, this time, 18 months ago, I was working on a farm, so to be here now, and if you had told me 18 months ago I would have signed a new deal, I wouldn't have believed you, so absolutely stoked.
Tell us a bit more about the farm, Max, because I understand the day you were drafted in the mid-season draft last year, you just finished a day on the cattle farm. So it's a cattle farm up near Yea, is that right? Sort of north of Melbourne?
Yeah, cattle farm, Grandpa's up there, we've got some sheep as well, but I still, absolutely love it still. Get up there. I'll be up there tomorrow on my day off, so still get up there a bit.
Well, just to harp on about that, how are you immersing yourself into the St Kilda playing group? Because generally St Kilda players are spending their time down at the Brighton Pantry Cafe down there, and I'm assuming that's a long way away from the farm. How have you fitted in?
Yeah, no, I fitted in really well. The boys are great. I think it's been really good for me. I've had a fair few of them up to the farm, and they've had me out to the old Brighton cafes and that, so it's been nice.
What's been the difference this year, Max, where you didn't get that opportunity late in the year to what you've done so far this season? Is there a particular thing or a couple of things that have clicked for you in the way that you've turned, what was an opportunity at the start of the season into now a really consistent, really good run of form?
Yeah, I think last year I probably had a few little niggles here and there that were a bit frustrating, but I gave everything to this pre-season, set myself up physically, and then it's just a matter of learning everything off the boys, which they've been great with, and so far so good.
Max, we appreciate your time. Go and celebrate with your teammates. 2 in a row, well done.
Thank you very much, tough.
Max Hall down in the St Kilda room. So, re-signing through till 2027, at least this week.
Awesome.
That news coming through alongside Hugh Boxall committing to the club through till 2028 at least.
Had to do it the hard way, so through Box Hill. Of course, we spoke to Brendan Bolton about him pre-game, and they had that connection and just exactly what he's brought to the season. But he's a ripper, and the champion data numbers behind the game say that he is one of the most impactful players across the whole competition this season, so he's been regularly having really high impact performances for the Saints, and what a pickup to essentially get him for free at the mid-season draft.
St Kilda's won it by 9 points here. North bowled, but St Kilda too good. 11-12, 78 to 10-9, 69. We've got to half-time at Cardinia Park. The Cats have exploded away there. It was locked up at quarter time now. Geelong lead by 5 goals, a 30-point lead for the Cats at halftime at Cardinia Park. If you're listening throughout local radio in the West, we're not too far away from taking you to the build-up to Freo taking on Carlton. And we'll get the votes here, but before we do that, here are the numbers, a few team numbers first of all. inside 50s, St Kilda had 16 more at 54-38. The overall disposals, not much in that. North Melbourne 30 more disposals. Saints won the contested ball plus 27. The centre bounce clearances, Saints 11-9. Clearances overall, North plus 1, so not much in those. Individually, Nas today, Wanganeen Millera. What's the breakdown? 24 kicks, 12 handballs. So, but of the 24 kicks, he only kicked at 50% efficiency. So 36 disposals, 9 clearances, 5 of them at the centre bounce, 13 contested possessions, 7 inside 50s, 9 score involvements, and 2 points.
3 intercepts thrown in there for good measure as well. Why not?
Sinclair 26, Hunter Clark 25, Marshall 24, McRae 22. That's the top group for the Saints. Colby McKercher led the way in those numbers for North Melbourne. 28 kicks, 8 handballs, 82% kicking efficiency for McKercher. 36 for McKercher, 33 for Sheasel, 32 for Daniel, 24 for Powell, and 21 for Davies Uniacke. So that helps Cal and Boomer work out maybe the 2 and the 1, or am I being presumptuous? 3, 2 and 1.
You might be.
I might be being presumptuous.
We give 1 to Rowan Marshall. Mm-hmm. Thought he was fantastic today. 24 disposals, snuck forward, kicked a goal and had 32 hit-outs. It was just more of his, in that last quarter, Cal, when he had a couple of one-on-one battles with Jack Darling and just won them. They were crucial wins for me. So 1 vote for him. Colby McKercher, North Melbourne's best player by an absolute mile today. You mentioned 36 disposals, 1 goal. It was his run and carry that really broke the game open at times. I thought he was fantastic. And 3 votes, unfortunately for North Melbourne, who kept him to 3 touches in the last quarter. He had 33 in the first 3 when the game was up for grabs, and Nazai Wanganeen Millera gets the 3 again.
Thank you, gents. Wanganeen Millera the 3, 2 to McKercher, 1 to Marshall. So I'll just reiterate the next 3 weeks. Richmond, Essendon, Greater Western Sydney for St Kilda. And I got a text from a gentleman from Albury whose name I can't remember now, but he was lamenting the fact that this is actually the last home game for the Saints. Even though they've got an MCG and Docklands games, they're away games against Richmond and Essendon, and then they play the Giants at the Showground. Can North find another win? Well, they go to Manuka next week to play the Giants. Then they've got Richmond in Hobart and Adelaide here. So they'll be hoping that they can find another one.
If you're a North fan, you're expecting that they will find that, Richmond in Hobart.
Richmond in Hobart's
you've got to tick that off.
You've got to put that in the book. Absolutely, you do. Mm. But the way Richmond are playing, they're playing some decent football.
Yeah.
A little bit inconsistent, of course, like most young teams.
But yesterday was the outlier in the course of their season.
Of course.
Are there too many teams in the competition? Because the gap at the moment, from how I see it, it's just significantly far too great.
Well, we spoke about the bottom 5 earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, far too great. And I just think it's a bigger picture. I know I've only got a couple of minutes left, but just to fill the time, I just wonder if that question should be asked from a bigger picture point of view.
It's a really interesting question, Cal. And as you know, I work across the codes. And the one thing I have noticed in, I think, most notably the last 5 or 6 years, I've called a lot more games in the NRL where the bottom teams are close, if not beating the top teams at the end of the season. The AFL is developing a very bad trend that we get to the back end of the season and we're not seeing any upsets.
Yep.
We're not, and that's, I think, the concern. Whether or not the wheat sorted from the chaff, but yeah, it is concerning for the AFL that the game does take a long time. And at the same time, there's a lot of one-sided games at the back end of the year.
I just think it's a bad look when, and I've been in teams when you haven't had successful seasons, when you start kind of planning your next year from like round 12 onwards. I just think it's not a great thing for, I guess, the code longer term. Like,
and fans hate it.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think your attendance sort of struggle, and then you kind of talk about list sizes and all that stuff kind of comes in, draft age. I just kind of wonder at the moment with Tasmania coming in, you've now got a couple of compromised drafts, so those bottom teams who aren't as successful as the top, they're going to potentially struggle to get talent to their club. So I just wonder, longer term, is it, are there too many teams?
An interesting point you raise with now 60 seconds left in the broadcast, Callum. Thank you for your company.
Stew on that.
It'll give us some think
next week.
Some think time throughout the rest of the week. Brent, thank you. And if anything, just good to see you again and experience You being in the box watching your boy play, I know what it's like as a father of a 16-year-old lad. So
bit nervous at times, but we got through. Unfortunately, the Kangas didn't get the win, but thanks for having me. Well called, boys. Fantastic.
Yeah, Joel and Kez, good luck in the next couple of weeks. Joel, next time I see you, you'll be a dad probably.
Yes, absolutely, and good luck for the Saints over the next couple of weeks, Boomer, in the mighty Maryborough Castlemaine League.
Yeah, 2 games to go, or 1 game to go, bye, and then finals time.
Thanks to Stewie on the faders and to Lauren Borden when she eventually decided to turn up for work today. With the plane turning up late from the Gold Coast, thanks to Zane Bojack back in the studio. So it's the Saints by 9 points here. It's the Cats leading by 5 goals at halftime, but let's take you to the west with Freo and Carlton.
Get your footy fix live and ad-free.